Millennium Sports presents Geyer Wildcats 6A Division I Region Championship Football versus the Southlake Carroll Dragons. Today's game is brought to you by Build-A-Berry Funeral Directors of Denton, the Scott Brown Group of Denton, Anchor Energy, Solar Solutions of DFW, State Farm Agent Earl Wood of Fort Worth, the Cerro Mexican Restaurants of DFW, author James C. Bivens' book, Walking Through the Valley of Grief, available now on Amazon, and Harris Ratings Weekly of Corinth and Van Harris. Now, let's join Monte Walker at DATQ Stadium on the campus of UNT in Denton.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Mean Green facilities over here. A beautiful, well, I wouldn't say a beautiful day, Jake Roberts. It's kind of rainy, it's cold, but hey, that's playoff football. That's what you expect.
Yeah, it's football weather. Excited for both of these teams to get on the field, and I mean, it's just prototypical playoff football weather. You got to play in the weather, and this is their opportunity to show that.
And those teams that we're talking about are Denton Geyer, the Wildcats, and of course the Southlake Carroll Dragons. This is a premium matchup. This isn't your throwaway group in Class 6A Division II. This is the cream of the crop, and somebody's got to win today. These are two programs that are very familiar with playing in late playoff games. The programs have been there many times. Of course, head coach Reed Heim of Geyer has had such great success here recently at Geyer. Riley Dodge, the head coach at Southlake Carroll, has had so much success over the years. He's 91-8 in his seventh season. Reed Heim 31-8 in his third season at Geyer. So these are two programs that kind of expect to be here, Jake.
For sure, and when you're expected to be somewhere, it almost puts a little more pressure on you for these teams to execute. It's going to be interesting today to see who comes out with a fire and just a will and just a way to execute, and it's going to be interesting.
Thank you for listening to the Build-A-Berry Funeral Directors pregame show. We've got head coach Riley Dodge interview momentarily, along with head coach Reed Heim of Geyer. We'll have those coming up after the break, but let's talk just a little bit more, Jake, about what we expect to see in this football game. I think Geyer, with their quarterback position, with Kevin Sperry, I think you're going to see him try to handle the offense and take this offense under his wing, so to speak. On the flip side of the field with Southlake Carroll, I think you're gonna definitely see their offense put on quite a show, or at least attempt to. Quarterback Angelo Renda, 208 out of 285. That's a 73% passing rating, 3,271 yards. These offenses may be the flashpoint of both teams, but this game could come down to the defense.
For sure, and as the saying goes, defense wins championships. And I think this game is going to show it, especially in the rain, the grittiness. It's a bit cold out there today. We'll just see who has the grit in today's game for sure.
Well, you're listening to Denton Geyer and Southlake Carroll, and you're in the Build-A-Berry Funeral Directors pregame show. Monte Walker, along with Jake Roberts and Mahlon Walker, will bring you today's action. We're going to take a quick timeout. You're listening to Millennium Sports presentation of Geyer Wildcats quarterfinal championship football, powered by TSP at gotsp.live.
Founded in 1990, the DeBerry Funeral Directors, located at 2025 West University Drive in Denton, offer traditional services to cremations or anything in between. The Bill DeBerry family provide ongoing pre-planning and pre-need services, making the life transition smoother. Details are available online at DeBerryFuneralDirectors.com.
Founded in 2002, Scott Brown Commercial is the trusted name in Denton County when buying, selling, leasing, or investing in commercial real estate. Scott Brown Commercial offers integrity and professionalism, providing innovative solutions. Details available online at sbpcommercial.com.
A minor accident can turn into a hassle. Fort Worth State Farm agent Earl Wood offers auto insurance with a combination of service, price, and protection. Earl's office is at 2900 South Hewland, Suite 50 in Fort Worth. Details available online at earlwood.biz. That's earlwood.biz. Fort Worth State Farm agent Earl Wood. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Welcome back. We've got you're listening to the Bill DeBerry Funeral Directors pregame show. Monte Walker along with Jake Roberts and Mahlon Walker. We've got the head coach Riley Dodge. We had a chance to talk to him just a little bit earlier. Jake, let's go ahead and see if we can pod that up and see what Riley Dodge had to say.
About each and every week. Just proud of our kids. You know, it's a young group.
I'm here with Southlake Carroll head coach Riley Dodge. The coach 13-0, undefeated. That's not an easy task to do. Talk about that.
No, I mean, you know, we're going to get everybody's best shot each and every week. Just proud of our kids. You know, it's a young group. Wasn't sure going into the season, you know, how this year was going to go, but they've answered the bell each and every week, and just proud of the way they've prepared.
Now, I'm so old. I broadcasted several games when your dad's team traveled up to Denton. What kind of impact has he had on you as a person and as a coach?
Yeah, it's everything. I mean, I knew at a young age that I wanted to be in this profession, just being in a lot of different field houses across the state of Texas with him, and just watching how he operated and how he treated people. And, you know, I just want to follow my dad's footsteps.
Geyer plays a ball hawk defense and has forced a ton of turnovers this season. Knowing that, does it factor or force any changes that you do?
You know, I don't know necessarily, but you know, we respect the crap out of them, and they do a heck of a job. Coach Heim does a great job defensively. They got some dudes all over the place, so you know we're gonna have to play a clean game.
The matchup we're looking for is to your 6'6" receiver Brady Knowles and his 7 touchdowns against Geyer's 5'9" cornerback Jonah Shamey, who has 4 interceptions. I'm guessing you have all the confidence in the world in your basketball star over there.
Yeah, young guy, sophomore. He's played really well of late. He's gotten better and better, you know, typical sophomore. You know, Broad Boyd is kind of our lead sled dog in the wide receiver group. You know, one top receivers in the area. So, you know, we're going to have to, you know, all of our receivers are going to have to show out tonight.
What's it going to take to walk away with a win today?
Yeah, we're going to tackle number 9, the quarterback. You know, he's a special player, and they got some special playmakers on offense. You know, I think it was as simple as, you know, blocking and tackling really, really well tonight, and, you know, keeping this plan simple and let our kids fly around and have fun. But, you know, we're going to have to play a clean game. I think the special teams will be the separator tonight.
All right, thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thanks, guys.
That interview was brought to you by Macera Mexican Restaurants of DFW. You're listening to Millennium Sports presentation of Geyer Wildcats quarterfinal championship football powered by TSP at gotsp.live. We'll be back in just a moment.
This commercial isn't about us. It's about you. It's about you and your first sip of your jalapeno margarita. It's about you and the fresh avocado and your shrimp ceviche. You and your family enjoying a good meal and good company. Celebrating with your closest friends, making a toast to a good year. Dessert, your favorite, Cinco Leches. When it's about you, you know you're at the right place. Make your reservation. Make it about you. Make it Macero.
The holidays are upon us. Want to earn some extra money? Get paid to work out? Go to careers.valet. Excuse me. We got a mono issue here. There we go. The holidays are upon us. Want to earn some extra money? Get paid to work out? Go to careers.valetliving.com and check out the many part-time opportunities in your local area. Valet Living, setting the standard. Valet Living is a proud sponsor of Texas Sports Productions. We had a chance also to hear from head coach Reed Heim of Geyer, and at this point we'll go ahead and let you listen to that. I'm here with Coach Reed Heim of Geyer. Now, you started off the season with a dramatic 35-30 win over Aledo. only 3 narrow losses this season. Are your Geyer Wildcats peaking at the right time?
Well, we hope to be doing that. We train, when off season starts, we start with the end in mind, meaning that we're hoping and we set everything up to be competing and making deep runs in the playoffs, much like our opponent today. And so, we started off with that solid win that you mentioned against Aledo, and we've had some ups and downs throughout the season, but I think our guys are playing good right now. I think they'll be ready to play, and we know that we're facing a very formidable opponent, and it should be a great game.
Third season as head coach here at Geyer. I think you've got to be proud of what you and your coaching staff has done and has accomplished during your time here.
Well, I'm last on the list. First of all, it starts with our kids and our community and what they, the sacrifices that they make and what great kids and character that they have. And then I'll go with my coaches. They are, it's a great group, very guys who've been doing it for a long time, some young guys, a great diversity, great mix of being here a long time, new ideas from other places. And I just enjoy being around them and being around our kids. It makes my job easy.
Now, while your offense scores a lot of points, the defense creates a lot of extra possessions with that massive amount of forced turnovers. Talk about your defense.
I think that they are really working to run to the football and get off blocks and do the fundamental pieces right. We're going to need to do that today. There's the kids that are playing that may have been juniors who hadn't played or sophomores who hadn't played. A lot of football previously. At this time of year, nobody's the class that they are. If you've played 13 or 14 games, if you're a freshman, you're really a sophomore. If you're a sophomore, you're really a junior. If you're a junior, you're really a senior. And if you're a senior, then you ought to know exactly what to do and when to do it. So, those guys have been playing hard, and we need them to do the same this game.
Southlake Carroll also scores a ton of points. Games like this often comes down to whoever makes the least amount of mistakes. Is that fair to say?
I think that's 100% correct. I mean, you're on the money. That's something that we've talked about with our team. I'm sure that Riley has done the same thing with his outfit. You can't give good football teams extra possessions, and when you have opportunities, you got to take advantage of them. So we would love to create some, and we want to make sure that we take care of the ball, and the team that does that today the best gives himself and positions himself to do very, very well.
Kevin Sperry makes this offense go. What will Wildcat fans expect to see today offensively?
Much of what you've seen over the last couple of weeks. 100% he is playing his best football right now. I think there's a little bit of an edge that I've seen really come out in him. I think it was there. Sometimes it just kind of takes time to find your rhythm. I think he's doing a great job with that. And, I can't say enough about him. He's truly he's a two-way guy in the sense he can throw and he can run. And many teams, if you look at that make deep runs, they have quarterbacks that are multi-talented. They can do multiple things. I think, you look across the row and their guy does the same things. They're down 2 running backs, so they've got a guy and they know he's an athlete, so they give him the ball. So, I think you're going to see 2 really good quarterbacks today.
Appreciate it, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you. Thanks, Monty.
All right, that was Coach Reed Heim of Geyer. I want to thank him and thank the sponsor, Scott Brown Group of Denton. You're listening to Millennium Sports presentation of Geyer Wildcats quarterfinal championship football powered by TSP at gotsp.live. We'll be right back.
Whether moving for the first time, relocating to Denton, or looking to downsize, leasing can be a great option. Regardless of what you're looking for, Scott Brown Properties of Denton is ready to help. Details available online at scottbrownproperties.net.
When faced with a life cycle event such as getting married, having a baby, buying a home or car, planning for retirement, or planning for college, Fort Worth State Farm agent Earl Wood has products and knowledge to help. Earl's office is at 2900 South Hewland, Suite 50 in Fort Worth. Details online at earlwood.biz. That's earlwood.biz. State Farm is for life.
Welcome back to the University of North Texas. It's a beautiful stadium. We've got Geyer and we've got Southlake Carroll. We've got a 6A Division II quarterfinal championship with both tunnels in the end zone. I think everybody's chomping at the bit to get ready to go with this one, Jake Roberts.
I'm sure there's a lot of nerves, a lot of excitement, a lot of anticipation in the air for this high-quality, high-class matchup of two great teams.
We've also got Mahlon Walker here. I understand there's a University of Texas football game today. Is that right?
There is. There's a big game.
So, Jake, I'll let you guys maybe talk about that for just a moment. We're here to do Guyer and Southlake Carroll, but what's the impact? What's going on with the University of Texas?
Yeah, so big game, SEC championship game in roughly an hour and a half. And Frank, I'm a Texas fan, so I'm super excited about this. But it's going to come down to Quinn Ewers being able to deliver in a big moment, and he's been a little shaky lately. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can bounce back or if there's a potential quarterback change.
Okay, I'm an OU guy, so we're not going to talk any more of that. Let's talk a little bit about this Guyer and Southlake game. Mahlon Walker will bring you in here for just a moment. I think we were talking off the air about the defensive front of Guyer and the strength there. Talk a little bit about some of those guys. It looks like Zane Rowe, speaking of OU, may be going up there. But, Mahlon, give us some analysis on that front four.
Yeah, it looks like there's some real monsters on that front four. You have number 0, Zane Rowe. He's 6'4", 225 as a sophomore, already has an offer from Oklahoma. And then you have their big guy, 99, 6'1", 270, also a sophomore. He's getting looks from UT, LSU, A&M, and Oregon, both with mid-60s in tackles and high sack rates. So it's going to be a factor in this game.
Yeah, the defensive line is a big part of this football team. Jake, let's talk a little bit about Southlake Carroll and what they're going to bring about to this football game.
Yeah, Southlake, a lot of offense and probably a lot of points going to be scored in this game. What Southlake is their biggest deal right now is that they're missing their starting 2 running backs, so they're down to their 3rd running back. And one of the interesting things about that is that Christian Glenn, the running back, is the son of Terry Glenn. And
former Cowboy great.
Former Cowboy great, Terry Glenn. So we'll see what he's able to do for this Southlake team, and I know that they have all the trust in the world in him.
Your Southlake Carroll's scouting report has been brought to you by Macero Mexican Restaurants of DFW. You're listening to the Millennium Sports presentation of Guyer Wildcats quarterfinal championship football, powered by TSP at gotsp.live. We'll be back in just a few seconds.
Fort Worth State Farm agent Earl Wood offers the State Farm Steer Clear Young Drivers Program. The Steer Clear Awareness Program is for drivers under the age of 25 and is designed to reinforce the fundamentals of driving. You can contact Earl Woods in Fort Worth at 817-922-9300. Details available online at earlwood.biz. That's earlwood.biz. State Farm is for life.
Is your sky-high monthly energy bill causing sleepless nights? Anchor Energy has cost-effective solutions to save you up to 25% with no upfront cost solar solutions. We know what you're facing. Go to anchor.energy for a free consult with either David or Brian. Your solution to a better future is waiting now at anchor.energy. That's anchor.energy.
Welcome back. We are in Denton, Texas at UNT. Guyer versus Southlake Carroll. Guyer being the home team today, so all of the Denton Guyer fans on the home side, whereas Southlake Carroll, even though they wear the same sort of colors as UNT, they are on the visiting side today. Let's give you a scouting report over Guyer, brought to you by Bill DeBerry Funeral Directors. Jake, let's talk a little bit about Guyer. Offensively, Kevin Sperry's going to make this thing go. 148 out of 263. That's only 56% passing, but he does have 2,210 yards. The 23 touchdowns is a big number, but the 8 interceptions is a big number also. However, recently as Coach Reed Heim indicated, he's playing his best football. Hasn't seen the turnovers come lately as they were earlier in the season. He also has rushed 140 times for 981 yards, 7 touchdowns. So that is an impressive two-way quarterback on the ground, through the air. He can do damage throughout this football game, Jake.
And that 981 yards on the ground is super impressive to me. You don't usually see a quarterback with yardage like that, especially at this level, being able to just run around and throw it, sling it around, and it's super impressive for a quarterback of his caliber to be able to do both that well.
What impresses me is you go around this starting offense, and up front you've got senior, junior, sophomore. So there's a mix there. These aren't just seniors. You also have, but predominantly you do have a lot of seniors. Your right tackle is also a shot put star, 320 pounds and 6'6", throwing the shot. And we're talking about Quan Byers, and we'll get the starting lineup momentarily, but you're talking about a predominantly senior-led offense. And Sterling Schneider is back, and that's a big bump for this offense as well. He's got some speed. He's got 859 yards and 9 touchdowns. So I think you're going to see the offense try to do absolute everything they can, but in a balanced way.
Right, and that's what you expect from good teams. You expect balance, you expect a run here, a pass here, and I expect both of these teams. And like I said earlier, I expect this to be a pretty high-scoring game. But we'll see. With the weather, this could affect how the game goes. And I think that's the bottom line.
So the matchup that we're kind of looking for today would be, as I mentioned in the conversation with Riley Dodge, is that their offensive receiver, Brady Knowles, who's 6'6", 180 pounds. Now, he's a sophomore, and he's a basketball star, but he's going up against Jonah Shamey, the cornerback, who's only 5'9", 175 of Geyer. Now, Shamey has 4 picks coming into this game, but that's a pretty good size difference. And do you think that they'll try to exploit that, meaning Southlake Carroll?
Absolutely, and I think Shamey's going to have a great game today. They're going to a big portion of this game is going to be on his shoulders, being able to defend against the 6'6" Brady Knowles, and that's a huge height difference. I mean, that's
not to put any pressure on the young man.
I know, right, but and I mean, I'm sure they have all the confidence in the world, as they have some issues with the PA, but I'm sure they have all the confidence in the world in their 5'9" corner. But I expect to see a lot of throws Knowles' way. I would expect that.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. Also, defensively, the hitman, they're going to be expecting a lot of big things out of Ryder Garcia today. Talking about Geyer, 105 tackles, leads the team. But fellow linebacker Caleb Fowler is just as impressive, 90 tackles. The senior is Fowler and the junior is Garcia. So that's your Denton Geyer Wildcats scouting report, brought to you by Bill DeBerry Funeral Directors. We're going to take a quick timeout. You're listening to Millennium Sports presentation of Geyer Wildcats quarterfinal championship football, powered by TSP at gotsp.live.
DeBerry Funeral Directors of Denton provide families with personal and professional services, keeping their wishes in the time of need. Our phones are answered 24 hours at 940-383-4200 by Bill DeBerry or another family funeral director. We are here for you. Call anytime at 940-383-4200. Details online at DeBerryFuneralDirectors.com.
If you're insured with Allstate, Progressive, or Geico, or if you've had car insurance for 1 year, well, buckle up, Texas. Because Fred Loya has new rates, and we'll give you up to a 45% discount right now. Don't let your insurance company drain your wallet. Call, compare, and start saving money today. Call Fred Loya at 1-800-444-4040, and you can save up to 45% on your car insurance. 1-800-444-4040. If you don't call, you don't save.
Welcome back. We are in at the University of North Texas in Denton, Texas. It's we have a great view up here, by the way. We're way up high in the sky. I hope my old eyes. I did bring my binoculars, so Mr. Magoo should be able to see either way today. Let's go over the starting lineups for both teams. For your Denton Geyer Wildcats, starting up front offensively, the left tackle Vance Adams, 6'5", 295 senior. The left guard Denzel Devereaux, 6'1", 275 and a junior. The center is Adriano Nevarez, 5'10", 280-pound sophomore. The right guard Brody Hamilton, 6'3", 300-pound senior. The right tackle we mentioned a moment ago, Quan Byers, 6'6", 320 and a senior, throws the shot. Your wideouts tonight will be DJ Reese, that's 5'9", 170 and a sophomore, has 46 catches for 762 yards and 9 touchdowns. Opposite of him, basketball starting point guard Mason White, 31 receptions for 689 yards and 9 touchdowns. The slot receivers will be Sonorius Gray, 10 catches, 160 yards. And your tight end will be Jackson Shockley, headed to Tulsa, or at least he's committed as of today. He's 6'3", 215-pound senior, 13 catches, 158 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Your starting quarterback is Kevin Sperry, committed to Florida State University, 6'1", 205-pound senior. He's completed 148 out of 263, 2,210 yards, 56% is what that is. 23 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He's rushed 140 times for 981 yards and 6 touchdowns. That's a 7 yards per carry average. Pretty impressive. Starting running back Sterling Schneider. Last week he had 10 carries for 35 yards and 2 touchdowns. But on the season, 116 carries, 859 yards, and 9 touchdowns. He's also caught 7 balls for 46 yards. He's had 4 100-yard rushing games so far this year. Defending them on the other side will be Southlake Carroll, starting up front in a 3-4 look. Crawford Taylor, 26 tackles. He's 6'1", 240 and a senior. Jake Lucky, the nose tackle, 5'9", 240-pound senior. The defensive end is Jackson Oakley, 6'1", 220-pound junior. The linebackers will be Mateo Fedor, a 5'10", 185-pound senior. Jacob Marr, 5'10", 200-pound senior. Ace Slavin, 5'10", 185-pound freshman. I'm sorry, I've got this wrong. I'm reading the whites instead of the blacks. The boxes. So the Jack Van Dorselaar will be the starter on defense at the defensive end. 6'5", 240-pound senior. My goodness, this chart's a little left-handed for me. The nose tackle is Austin Davidge, 6'1", 230-pound senior. And Zach Hayes, the other defensive end, 6', 200-pound junior. The linebackers, let's do this again. Robbie Ladd, 5'11", 195-pound junior. William Leans, 5'11", 200-pound senior. Marcus Browse, 6', 200-pound junior. And Parker Harris, 5'10", 170 senior. The cornerbacks are Luke Langford, 6', 190 senior. And Luke Bussman, 5'10", 180 junior. The safeties are Ethan Fisher, 6', 170 senior, and William Chin, 5'10", 180, a junior. For Denton Geyer on the defensive side, excuse me, Zane Rowe committed to OU, 6'4", 225-pound sophomore. Kyron Haywood, 6'1", 270-pound sophomore. Xavier Ukpono, 6'3", 300-pound senior. And 5'10", 245-pound senior Mac DeCentes. The linebackers are Ryder Garcia, the hitman, 6'2", 225-pound junior, and Caleb Fowler, 6', 200. Both have 105 tackles and 90 tackles, respectively. Cornerbacks tonight are Jonah Shamey, 5'9", 175-pound senior, and Jace Johnson, 5'10", 175-pound junior. Your safeties tonight will be Caden Cobbs, 6', 190-pound junior. Jalen Sterling, 6', 180, 6'1", 180, and a junior. And Owen Whistler, 6', 170, and a junior. Starting offense for Southlake Carroll, up front will be the left tackle Luke Wilson, 6'7", 255, sophomore. Left guard, 6'4", 265, senior is Trent Wilson. The center is Robbie Collins. He is 6'3", 260-pound junior. And Nathan Domaraki, 6'2", 250. He's a junior. The right tackle, 6'4", 270-pound sophomore, Tristan Dare. The wideouts will be Brady Knowles, 6'6", 180, a sophomore, and Brock Boyd. He is 6'2", 175-pound junior. Your tight end / H-back is Rex Duggan, 6'2", 210-pound senior. And your other wideout on the slot will be Blake Gunner, 6'2", 170-pound sophomore. Quarterback tonight, Angelo Renda, 6', 180-pound junior. He's 208 out of 285 passing, 3,271 yards through the air. That's 73% completion rate. 34 touchdowns on the season compared to 6 interceptions. That's remarkable. He's also rushed 63 times for 470 yards, which is a 7.5-yard average. 13 touchdowns on the ground. I would expect to see him have more of the duty rushing the football today because the running back is Christian Glenn. He's the son of Terry Glenn, the former Cowboy great, but he's the third in line as Southlake Carroll has lost their starting 2 running backs. Davis Penn and Riley Wormley are out. Christian Glenn gets the start. 63 carries, 346 yards, 5.5 on the ground, 3 touchdowns, and he's also caught 5 balls for 43 yards. That's your starting lineup for both teams. We should be ready for the national anthem momentarily. And both teams are making their way out. Now Geyer, they enter the field. Black uniforms, black pants, gray helmets. Across the way, Southlake Carroll ran through their Dragon, and they have black pants, white jerseys, and white helmets. And they are a long way down there, Jake.
Yeah, they're quite a bit of a ways away. I see we're going to need those binoculars.
So I think, again, we're just about ready for the national anthem as this Class 6A Division II quarterfinal matchup is just about underway. The helmets are deflating, but the players are certainly not deflating. They look pretty jacked up. Both rosters. Southlake Carroll brings what looks like 300 kids on their roster. They're lined up from the 24-yard line on one side, nearly to the end zone on the other. And with that, Jake Roberts, it is football time in Texas. Class 6A Division II quarterfinal time in Texas. And right now, you can hear the raindrop hitting our crowd mic. It's a good time to talk to Mahlon Walker for our Scott Brown Group field conditions. Mahlon?
Yes, the energy here is just amazing, even in this playoff weather. I mean, with feels like of going into the low 40s. You see, well, there's wind out here at 10 miles an hour. The rain, with persistent rain, the crowds really haven't showed up. So the most determined of fans out here, a good thing to note is that everybody out here is in raincoats except me. So getting a little downpour right now. But you know what? I got to love it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful day for playoff football. It's not a beautiful day for anything else. This is kind of an Ox Gym type of day. Thank you, Mahlon. That's our Scott Brown Group field conditions report. Jake, I think you've got some keys to victory you can tell us about.
Yeah, real quickly, Denton Geyer's keys to victory today. They're going to be wanting to limit the turnovers. Sperry's done a good job of that recently, but they're going to want to continue to do that. And in order to beat a good team like Southlake Carroll, they're going to want to keep control of the clock. If they can do those two things, they're going to put themselves in a great position to win today.
Southlake Carroll will receive the football to start this football game. And they'll be traveling left to right from our vantage point way up here in the sky. It's going to be a short kick. Going to be taken initially near the 25-yard line, making a cut. Ball's on the turf. Already a turnover could be in Geyer's favor. They say they have it, and they do. Geyer has recovered the opening kickoff of the quarterfinal 6A Division II championship at the 30-yard line.
Wow, and what did I say? Just like 2 seconds ago, I said turnovers are going to determine this game. And immediately, Geyer strikes, and immediately this rain seems to have an impact on the game as well.
The weather conditions are certainly playing a factor early as the opening kickoff goes into the arms of the kickoff team. So Geyer will start first. Just underway from the 30. Sperry is going to keep it himself around the left edge, trying to get around the corner, can't do it, but does get back to the line of scrimmage. He is brought down by the nose tackle, Austin Davidge.
You can immediately see the speed of Sperry getting around the edge. Good job by the Carroll defenders, able to just kind of feel out the play before it started.
Second down and 10. Here is Sperry handing off. First man through on the right side, right behind right tackle is Sterling Schneider. That'll be good enough to about the 27-yard line. Give him 3 yards there.
Yeah, and I mean, I would imagine they're just going to anchor on this all day with the weather conditions. Run the football. If they can run the football consistently, then they're going to put themselves in a good position to win.
Third down, and we'll call it 6. Scoreboard says 6. So we'll take it. Sperry in the gun. Schneider will get it this time, coming near side. Around the left edge, that's not Snyder. That's on the carry, going to be Caden Cobbs.
That's good.
And that will be close to a first down, and it will be enough. They'll move the sticks at the 20-yard line.
Yeah, we saw Cobb's speed there. Got around the left edge, chased down by the defenders, but he got around the defenders and just barely enough for that first down, keeps the drive going.
Right to left goes Geyer in all black uniforms except for the gray helmets. Cobb still in the game, and this time keeping it up the middle. Sperry, he may be in, and he is. It's touchdown time in Texas. Kevin Sperry takes it right behind Caden Cobbs up the middle, right behind right guard, and punches it in from the 20-yard line.
Boy, and again, we're seeing the speed and the leadership of this offensive line and the speed by these players, and what a great opening drive for Denton Geyer. That's exactly what they wanted. That is perfect. You get the turnover and you score, and that's how you win football games.
The extra point by Stinson is good, and Geyer's up 7-0. You're listening to the Millennium Sports presentation of Geyer Wildcats quarterfinal championship football, powered by TSP at gotsp.live. We'll be back in just a moment.
Founded in 1990, the DeBerry Funeral Directors, located at 2025 West University Drive in Denton, offer traditional services to cremations or anything in between. The Bill DeBerry family provide ongoing pre-planning and pre-need services, making the life transition smoother. Details are available online at DeBerryFuneralDirectors.com.
Welcome back. Monte Walker along with Jake Roberts and Mahlon Walker. As Geyer just went 3 plays and 30 yards. And it was capped off by a Kevin Sperry 20-yard touchdown to bring us our new score 7-0 early. 10:30 on the clock, and there's your kickoff. For the second time, well, it's not going to end up this time with a fumble. And Southlake Carroll will take possession. And they'll be moving left to right from our vantage point from the 20-yard line.
Boy, and you can just feel the momentum that Geyer has after such a fast start. It'll be interesting to see how Carroll comes out here and responds. You almost feel like this is it's early, but you almost feel like this is a much score situation.
Yeah, Southlake Carroll, they do not. I mean, they're already down 7-0, and now they're trapped at their own 20. Not the way they drew this thing up, I'm pretty sure. 2 receivers to either side, as it's Angelo Renda. He's going to take it up the middle. A big hole for a moment, but he decided to jump left right into the arms of some defenders of Geyer. One of those arms was Matt DeSantis, but enough to get him to the 27-yard line. A good gainer. 2nd down and 3 coming up.
I think if he had just kept going straight up that hole, that he would have had a lot more yards.
I agree. There is a delay, as you heard some whistles there, but I don't think we're in a timeout situation by any stretch. Let's see. It's 2nd down and 3. 9:49 and rolling here in quarter number 1. Renda throws across the middle, almost picked off. Coming across was the linebacker, Caleb Fowler, who almost was able to haul that one in and change the other direction. And it's 3rd down and 3.
And they are so lucky to get this ball back early. 2 turnovers. It wouldn't have been the way they wanted to start.
Yeah, Southlake Carroll not starting out the way they anticipated for sure.
Big 3rd down.
3rd down and 3. Moving left to right. A handoff and a big hit and a big loss back to the 20-yard line. My goodness. The handoff was to Christian Glenn, and unfortunately Glenn, who does wear the number 83 that his father Terry Glenn most famously wore, but that one went nowhere but backwards, and it's 4th down and punt time back at the 22-yard line.
Very impressive on the defensive line. Kyron Haywood getting pressure, Zane Rowe getting pressure as well, and there was just absolutely no time for Christian Glenn to go anywhere.
Ball punted away, a high spiraling kick, going to go near the Southlake Carroll bench, and it does roll out of bounds just on the other side of the 50-yard line at the 49. So 51 yards to go for Geyer with 9:01 on the clock here in the first. 7-0 Geyer leads early after Kevin Sperry raced 20 yards to cap off the first drive, which resulted because of Southlake Carroll fumbled the opening kickoff at the 30-yard line, and Geyer took it to the house in only 3 plays. 1st and 10. Sperry wants it. He's going to keep it himself. Over left guard, rumbles forward, lowers his shoulders, and reaches near the 40, but right about the 40, we'll call that the 43-yard line.
More of the same, just a direct quarterback run. and good yardage there on first down. We haven't seen many passes, and I'm wondering if that's affected by the weather.
It could be. 2nd down and 2. There's your pass that you want. Sperry goes deep, right side, all alone in the end zone, and it's caught. Touchdown, and it's Mason White. And Geyer all of a sudden goes up 2 scores early with 8:25 here to go in the first quarter.
Mason White with that matchup against Luke Bussman, it just completely blew him out of the water speed-wise, and then Kevin Sperry hit him in stride for a big play, and Carroll's in trouble. That's what it comes down to.
The kick is up, and the kick is good, and Geyer leads 14-0 with 8:25 left to go in the first. You're listening to Millennium Sports presentation of Geyer Wildcats quarterfinal championship football, powered by TSP at gotsp.live. We'll be back in a moment.
Founded in 2002, Scott Brown Commercial is the trusted name in Denton County when buying, selling, leasing, or investing in commercial real estate. Scott Brown Commercial offers integrity and professionalism, providing innovative solutions. Details available online at sbpcommercial.com.
Wow, Jake Roberts, did you expect this start?
I expected this start offensively from Geyer, but I expected firepower from Southlake as well, and we just haven't seen that so far. But a lot of work to do for Southlake on this possession.
Geyer will tee it up. Ford Stinson tees it up at the 40. It'll be the 3rd kick return already by Southlake Carroll. This is a pooch kick, and it's going to be taken at the 23-yard line, coming right side, nestled and hurried and scurried by a bunch of black jerseys, and Southlake Carroll will be traveling left to right from the 32-yard line thereabouts.
Yeah, it kind of feels like this whole game's been played on that left side from our vantage point of the field so far. Just Southlake not able to get anything going so far. Be interesting to see what they come out here and do, because that first possession they really had nothing going on.
Carroll, first and 30.
Yeah, here we go. Big possession for Southlake. Got to get something going.
This stadium runs northeast to southwest, and here is Renda throwing the deep ball down the left side. Wide open is his receiver, and that's going to be a big gainer, a first down, gain of about 20. Blake Gunner makes the catch as he was wide open on the far side.
Just snuck right into that offset zone on the far side of the field. And a good pass by Renda.
16-yard pickup for Southlake Carroll. First sign of life we've seen so far today. Renda's going to keep it around the right side. Lots of room to run, but he slides down. He slips down. That could be weather-related, Mahlon. The field is a little bit wet out there.
That's exactly right. The ball isn't exactly as firm as it is, and the ground sure isn't as steady. Turnovers are going to be prone in this game.
That one was a run that could have gone a very, very long way, but he slipped down at the 49-yard line. Now into Geyer's side of the field. Renda's going to keep it again around the right side. A lot of room to run. Got the 40, splits the defender, down to the 20, steps out of bounds, and possibly a late hit, but they're not going to call it. Stepped out of bounds at about the 17-yard line.
And haven't we seen the athleticism of these two quarterbacks early in this one? Both quarterbacks putting on a show on the ground. Renda able to just get outside towards us, runs towards, and he just lots of open field. 33
yards, a big gainer right there for Southlake Carroll. Angelo Renda wants it with 3 receivers left, 1 right. Drops back, wants to throw, looking right, throws, and it's a little short hopped at the front corner of the end zone, falls incomplete. I'm not sure the ball might not have been tipped at the line of scrimmage.
I didn't see that, but it was good coverage regardless out there by Owen Whistler. And so I'm not sure even if that had been a perfect pass that it would have been complete.
2nd down and 10 coming up for Southlake Carroll. 14-0. Geyer leads with 7:29 left to go in the first. A turnover led to one of the scores. Rinda will hand off to Glenn, though he kept it. A beautiful play fake. Throws a completed pass to his intended receiver, which is Brock Boyd. And that'll take him all the way to the 3-yard line.
If Boyd is led in stride right there on that pass, that is a touchdown. It was a little underthrown.
First and goal from the 3. Rinda is going to hand off to Glenn. No, he kept it again. A beautiful play fake, but this time he's sniffed out pretty nicely on the far edge. Again, that's Caleb Fowler. Comes over to make the stop. Maybe a gain of 1 to the 2-yard line.
These linebackers so far doing a great job at identifying where the play is going and just being able to tell where the fakes are.
Southlake Carroll showing signs of life in this football game for the first time. This drive started at their own 32. They're knocking on the door of the 2. Hand off to Glenn, pushes his way in. It's touchdown. It's a touchdown for Southlake Carroll, as they cut the lead in half with a PAT with 6:34 left to go here in the first.
That's what we expected from this game. We expected high offense, and being able to do that there, that's a huge momentum boost for them. It really affects both teams in this game. A big score and a big position.
Gavin Strange on for the PAT. Zach Hayes to hold. The kick is up very high. Heads near the scoreboard, the big jumbotron, and it's good. 14-7, our new score after a 7-play, 68-yard drive. We'll be back in just a moment.
A minor accident can turn into a hassle. Fort Worth State Farm agent Earl Wood offers auto insurance with a combination of service, price, and protection. Earl's office is at 2900 South Hewlin, Suite 50 in Fort Worth. Details available online at earlwood.biz. That's earlwood.biz. Fort Worth State Farm agent Earl Wood. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
7 plays, 68 yards for Southlake Carroll on that drive, capped off by a 2-yard touchdown by Christian Glenn. And Southlake cuts the Geyer lead in half at 14-7. We've got 6:35 remaining in quarter number 1. Strange to kick it off. It's a deep kick near the end zone. Goes a yard deep into the end zone, and turning around and watching it go through is Aiden Martins. And for the first time this afternoon, Geyer will start on their side of the field.
And they're gonna be wanting to do exactly what they've done the first 2 possessions. Deep ball over to their receiver Mason White last possession, and then a run by Kevin Sperry on the first possession. They're showing they've got all of it. We'll see what adjustments Southlake can make to gain the edge back in this game.
3 receivers bunched together way wide on the near side. Headed right to left is Geyer. Sperry's going to keep it around the left edge, brought down nicely.
Sperry on the ground.
I think that was Marcus Browse was the first man there to make the tackle. Nope, it was not. It was...
What
was that? It looked like the safety might have come over. It was, well, that was Brody Knowles, I think, who made the tackle there.
I believe so.
2 yards. We'll place it at the 27. And whistles and a flag comes out before the 2nd down and 8 can get underway. We've got exactly 6 minutes on the clock. It's going to be a false start against Geyer, which will back it up to the 22. So far, that's the first flag we've seen so far.
That is a pretty clean game so far. That's a big deal. That's a big flag right there. Puts them from 2nd and manageable to 2nd and long.
2nd and 13 to be exact. Right to left goes Geyer from our vantage point. Sperry in the gun. Claps twice. Fakes the hand. Looking to throw. Now he rolls out to the right side. A lot of room in front of him. Got the 30, 35 down the sideline. Splits another tackle and goes out at the 41-yard line. A big gainer there. 19 yards for Sperry on the ground. There's 5:36 on the clock, and Geyer leads 14-7.
Yeah, he's fast. Out on the far side of the field, which is to the right of the offense, and great speed to get around all of those quick defenders for Southlake.
Shockley goes in motion from right to left. This will be a handoff coming near side, trapped in the backfield. And that is not what they were looking for. Aiden Martins might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage, but I think he's going to lose a yard back to the 40, and he does.
Yeah, lost a yard there. It's a great defensive play to get the tackle right there, and it's setting up a 2nd and 11. And these are big plays to be able to put yourself in a position to get a first down.
Have we not seen Schneider since the very first play?
I do not know if we have.
2nd down and 11. Sperry is going to keep it himself over left tackle. Makes one defender miss. Dives forward like Superman near the midfield stripe. But his knees will hit at the 47-yard line.
Got number 13 right here trying to figure it out. He got number 13 to miss, and then he kind of just dove.
Full house backfield. 3rd down and 4. 4:33 on the clock. Man goes in motion out of the backfield. Sperry's going to be trapped, and he goes down. This is going to be a loss of 4 or 5 at least, back to the 43-yard line. That one blew up in a hurry.
And I'm not sure if that was a broken play from the start. They motioned one of the running backs off to the right, and then Sperry took the snap, and it looked like he didn't exactly know where to go with it, so he kept it, ran to the left side of the field, and then kind of just slipped down when there were 3 Southlake defenders there.
So it'll be punt time for the first time for Geyer this afternoon with 3:57 and rolling here in quarter number 1. The ball goes over the head of the punter. Goes back, tries to field it, and he is nailed, and the ball is loose. There's a scramble forward at the 12-yard line. Southlake Carroll looks like they may have it, and apparently they do, and they'll be knocking on the door at the 6-yard line. So here we have 2 instances of big turnovers on special teams. And the punter, Peyton Jund, was nailed, and he's still on the turf at the 14-yard line.
Crazy sequence. And we've seen 2 crazy sequences on special teams like you mentioned, but that's a big one. I mean, that sets up Southlake at about, the 5-yard line right there, the 6-yard line, and they're going to be able to in position to tie this game. And just like that, these offenses strike tick-tack, tick-tack, and Southlake's in a position to score.
It's the special teams.
Right.
This game, we talked a lot about offense, defense, but in these big games like this, it often comes down to special teams. And that's certainly the situation so far this afternoon with 3:43 remaining in the first. Geyer leads 14-7, but Southlake Carroll's knocking on the door at the Geyer 6-yard line.
And I'm wondering if that's maybe another mistake of the weather making an impact on this game early.
It certainly could. You never know if the ball was slick as the deep snapper was trying to send it back there. That very well could have been the case. It just sailed right over John's head.
And then, boy, he got hammered.
He was absolutely leveled.
And he's just now making his way back onto the sideline.
He's kind of holding his right arm, it appears. That's the best news you can get out of a punter is if it's an arm injury and not a leg injury.
Yeah, well, be interesting to see what Carroll comes out with here. I would imagine more run plays. We'll see. Nonetheless, big turnover.
Renda in the gun, Angelo Renda. And Christian Glenn will stand to his right. Everybody bunched together. Here's a handoff to Glenn. A big seam, not even touched in the end zone. Touchdown Southlake Carroll. As they punch it in, and they're an extra point away from tying this football game. After all of that being dominated by Geyer for the first half of this quarter so far, they have punched it in back-to-back times, especially after that big turnover.
And it just sure feels like that Geyer's just been in control of this game, but then you look at the scoreboard, and it's about to be tied.
The extra point is up and true by Gavin Strange. We got a tie ball game in Denton at UNT. You're listening to Millennium Sports presentation of Geyer Wildcats quarterfinal championship football powered by TSP at gotsp.live.
Anchor Energy is DFW's leading provider of residential and commercial solar solutions. Did you notice your monthly bill skyrocketing 100% over the last 3 years? Anchor Energy has solar options to lower your bill up to 25% with no risk or upfront cost. Go to Anchor Energy for a free consult with David or Brian to develop your custom Anchor Energy plan. Act now. Go to anchor.energy.
We've got a football game here today, guys. This is quite the game. Jake Roberts and Mahlon Walker. 14-14, 3:39 left to go in the first. We've had a couple of turnovers, which led to scores. We've seen some good offensive play. Two great football teams.
We've seen everything here.
Just
the first quarter.
I'll tell you what, this is going to be a doozy today. Here's the kickoff. Going to be taken back at the 2-yard line, making his way up the middle, up to the 20-yard line. Will be Aiden Martins, and he'll be slammed down pretty hard. Might have reached the 21, but I think they'll mark him right at the 20.
Yeah, number 44, Austin Trena on Southlake, able to make a big hit right there and got up pretty excited, as I'm sure the energy is back in the crowd and in the sidelines over there for Southlake after a pretty deflating start.
Mahlon, this crowd's starting to fill up a little bit. The rain hasn't turned them away too much. Here's Sperry going to hand off to Cobbs, cuts it back up the middle near a first down. That's Schneider for the first time in a while that we've seen him. It'll be about an 8-yard gain. Talk about the weather, Mahlon.
Well, the weather's still the same. It's dreary, just playoff weather. What I wanted to know is that while the fans aren't getting into it, the sideline is. In the first part of this game, Southlake was dead in the water, and now it's flipped. Southlake is jumping up and down, and Geyer is just frozen.
Schneider was frozen, but not after a first down pickup to the 35-yard line. And that's a new set of downs for Geyer. They'll send 3 receivers out far right. Sperry in the gun. He'll keep it around the right edge. Has to jump over a defender. On his way to a first down run, the ball might have fumbled around in his hands, but he was able to corral it as he was going down. That's another big first down run for Sperry, nearing the midfield stripe at the 49-yard line, 14 yards.
And Sperry just putting the offense on his back here early in this game, making big play after big play, and that was no different. Juking 3 defenders and then finally being taken down after a first down carry.
1st and 10, Sperry, handoff, left side, Cobbs. He'll gain enough to get across the midfield stripe and a little bit more to the 47-yard line into Southlake territory.
I think we're seeing a bit of the experience of this offensive line so far early in this game, because they've really had their way apart from last drive. The runs have been plentiful for Denton Geyer.
Cobb stays in the backfield on the left side of Sperry. Sperry trying to figure out where he wants to go. This time he's going to go backwards. He couldn't figure it out. He was like a squirrel trying to cross the street with a car coming. At first he was going to try to follow Cobbs over left tackle, but then he stopped dead in his tracks and went right. Tried to get around another defender and just had his legs taken out from him. A loss back on the Geyer side of the field at the 49. A loss of, 4?
Just kind of shuffling around back there. He was bouncing back and forth. He had the energy, but there was nowhere for him to go.
3rd down and 10. Shockley goes in motion to the right tight end side. This is an end-around reverse, a little trickery. Sperry under pressure, wants to throw the deep ball, hammers it deep down the field. It's going to be caught by Cobbs, I believe. That's not. It is caught and going out of bounds for a first down, but let's check. There is a flag down.
Boy, and what an impressive play by Sperry. Defense bearing on him. He just delivers a strike for what might be a first down.
It was Sonoris Gray who made the reception down the field. They have those little skinny numbers where the ones kind of look like 3s and 2s. But this penalty is going to go against Geyer.
It was an illegal man downfield penalty. And so that wipes out a big play and sets them up 3rd and a mile.
3rd and 15 to be exact at the 44-yard line from their own 44. Moving right to left, Sperry in the gun. Drops back 3 steps, looks left. Lots of time, plenty of time an enormous amount of time. Finally fires it down the field and overshoots Gray, who was the intended receiver.
Pass intended for 3, Sonoris Gray, ball's incomplete.
And now it's punt time again for Geyer for back-to-back possessions.
And that play was not for a lack of the offensive line doing their job. The Southlake cornerbacks did a great job of locking down all the receivers for Geyer. And here we go, another punt. Be interesting to see if last time's punt has any effect on this one.
The snap is over the head again. Racing back to try to get this one all the way back to the 5-yard line, trying to fall on it, and this time it's picked up by Southlake Carroll and ran into the end zone for a touchdown. Ethan Fisher picked it up at the 3, scooped and scored his way on in. And another special teams mishap.
That's unbelievable. Again, it's the exact same thing that we saw the first time, but even worse. It was completely over his head. He didn't get his hands on it at all. And Southlake takes the lead after a 14-0 start by Geyer. That's so deflating.
My, oh my. Have you seen anything like this where the deep snapper is the most important person in the
playoff game?
My goodness. My goodness. 20-14 now. With the PAT, it's 21-14 Southlake Carroll. Who would have thunked that a moment ago? 48 seconds left to go in the first. You're listening to Millennium Sports presentation of Geyer Wildcats Quarterfinal Championship Football, powered by TSP at gotsp.live.
If you're insured with Allstate, Progressive, or Geico, or if you've had car insurance for 1 year, well, buckle up, Texas. Because Fred Loya has new rates, and we'll give you up to a 45% discount right now. Don't let your insurance company drain your wallet. Call, compare, and start saving money today. Call Fred Loya at 1-800-444-4040, and you can save up to 45% on your car insurance. 1-800-444-4040. If you don't call, you don't save.
Reese and Martin deep for the Wildcats. Straight.
Well, my, oh my, oh my, oh my. We have a different kind of a football game than we had about 10 minutes ago, Jake Roberts.
Incredible comeback, and just not the comeback that you would have expected. You would have expected it to be big offensive drives and defensive stops.
You said early in the game, Southlake Carroll's in trouble. Well, they're not in trouble anymore. They're leading the football game 21-14 with 48 seconds left to go in the first quarter.
I think you could say the opposite. I think you could say Geyer is in trouble in this moment and needing to score big.
Gavin Strange kicks it off. This one's not going to reach the end zone. It's going to be taken by Martins at the 8-yard line, coming near side, trying to find a seam, and finally had his legs taken out from under him, and he dives forward to the 27-yard line where Geyer will start their next possession. They've punted twice in a row after scoring quickly. The game started on a fumble of a kickoff return by Southlake Carroll. Moments later, Kevin Sperry took it in from the 20-yard line. And then Geyer scored later on a 43-yard touchdown strike from Sperry to Mason White. But since then, it's been punt, 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 punt. 1st and 10, right to left. Sperry wants to throw. The crossing route over the middle, a first down catch. That is Sonoris Gray on the reception, and that was a beautiful throw by Kevin Sperry. And now you can realize why Florida State University might be looking at that young man.
Absolutely. A great strike across the middle, perfectly in stride, and I'm wondering why they're not passing more.
13-yard pickup, 1st and 10. Sperry a handoff to Cobbs over right tackle, still fighting his way through. What a great run, as he never stopped moving his feet and covering up the ball with both arms, as you had white jerseys of Southlake Carroll slapping at it. And that'll be a 9-yard run near the midfield stripe at the 49-yard line.
Yeah, Cobb's able to just kind of power his way, keep his legs churning.
That's the end of the first quarter.
That's the end of the first quarter. Jake, you want to read some sponsors there for us?
We have Geyer Wildcats.
Yes. The Millennium Sports and Geyer Wildcats wish to thank today's broadcast sponsors: Bill DeBerry, Funeral Directors of Denton, the Scott Brown Group of Denton, Anchor Energy, Solar Solutions of DFW, State Farm Agent Earl Wood of Fort Worth, author James C. Bivens' book Walking Through the Valley of Grief, available now on Amazon, Macero Mexican Restaurants of DFW, and Harris Ratings Weekly of Corinth and Van Harris. Geyer Wildcats football. Wildcats' historic 2024 football season continues here, our 12th consecutive season with Millennium Sports with worldwide audience. You can make it possible for family, former student athletes, players, and fans to follow Denton Geyer worldwide and receive shout-outs or business ads by sponsoring the broadcasts. Call or shoot a text to John Fro, president of Millennium Sports, at 214-642-7003 or email jmfro@att.net.
A minor accident can turn into a hassle. Fort Worth State Farm agent Earl Wood offers auto insurance with a combination of service, price, and protection. Earl's office is at 2900 South Hewland, Suite 50 in Fort Worth. Details available online at earlwood.biz. That's earlwood.biz. Fort Worth State Farm agent Earl Wood. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Back to action. It's the second quarter now in Denton, Texas. They flip sides, and Sperry will keep it, trying to get the first down as he runs forward, and he does. Matter of fact, he would have had enough on the first effort, but he kept his feet moving and drugged 4 or 5 white jerseys with him for another big gain up to the 44-yard line in Southlake Carroll territory.
2 plays in a row of pure strength by Geyer. Just being able to turn their legs and get some extra yardage.
11:37 on the clock here in the second. 21-14, Southlake Carroll leads. Sperry, a quick strike out to his receiver, right down the middle. Racing to the end zone. It's touchdown time in Texas. Mason White on one of the quicker passes you'll ever see. He slung that ball like Brett Favre. There's a flag down at the 48, but no indication that this is going to go against Denton Geyer. It's roughing the passer, and it'll be obviously declined.
Crazy throw, immediate throw. I mean, as soon as he caught the ball, he knew exactly where he was going, threw it. What a strike. And Mason White was off to the races. No one was going to catch him.
Mahlon Walker, I would imagine that coming out of the first quarter, and that being the first play of the second quarter, that was talked about coming out of that break.
You know that there was a plan for it. Coach always has something in for it. And to think that it's 21-21 just right in the second quarter, that's astonishing.
It's about to be 21-21, assuming that Ford Stinson can boot this one through, and he does. And it is 21-21, 11:26 left to go in the second quarter. What a game we have here today. You're listening to Millennium Sports presentation of Geyer Wildcats Quarterfinal Championship Football, powered by TSP at gotsp.live.
Founded in 2002, Scott Brown Commercial is the trusted name in Denton County when buying, selling, leasing, or investing in commercial real estate. Scott Brown Commercial offers integrity and professionalism, providing innovative solutions. Details available online at sbpcommercial.com.
4 plays and 73 yards on the drive for Geyer. And that 44-yard strike from Sperry to White made it 21-21. The kickoff by Geyer ended up going out of bounds, or kicked out of bounds. I think it was kicked out of bounds. And the officials are talking about it. It was nearing going out about the 12-yard line, and one player kicked it.
White touched the ball at the 16-yard line.
And Geyer is happy about the call, as it was illegally touched. So Geyer will have some extra yardage as they begin their – or wait a minute. Carroll, Southlake.
So Carroll kicked it out trying to get the flag, and my assumption is that Carroll's just going to get it right there. Or will they be moved back? No, it looks like they're just going to get it right.
Yeah, apparently that's
right where they kicked it out.
They're going to get it at the 16-yard line. At their own 16.
It probably would have gone out if he didn't touch it. So
11:26 on the clock. Renda all alone in the backfield. Drops back 3 steps, looks across the middle, fires it. It's going to be caught. Breaks it. No, a great shoestring tackle to avoid further damage. That was Blake Gunner on the reception right across the middle at the 36-yard line.
A very similar play to what we just saw from Geyer on the opposite side of the ball. Quick strike across the slant, and it was wide open. Good tackle, though.
20 yards for Southlake Carroll. This will be Renda keeping himself around the right edge, trying to make a man miss. Does. Makes 2 men miss. Around the 40 and steps out of bounds at about the 43-yard line. They'll call it the 42. Give him a gain of 6 on first down, bringing up a 2nd down and 4.
And what a fake right there. I was watching the running back, Christian Glenn, the entire time until I realized that he didn't have the ball. And so I looked back up, and Renda was off getting some good yardage on that play.
2 receivers to either side for Southlake, who are traveling from right to left from our vantage point. Renda all alone in the backfield. He'll look right, throw right, setting up the screen. Does. Down the sideline for a first down goes his receiver, Brock Boyd.
Renda's pass complete to 11. Brock Boyd, that's good.
So they'll move the sticks as he steps. Well, they're finally moving the sticks.
Tested by Boyd. Good for a Dragon. First
at the 47-yard line. Gain of 5 as they inch closer to midfield at the 47-yard line.
They're taking their time on offense, whereas early in the game they seem to be kind of in a bit of a hurry up.
2 receivers come down here at the bottom, bunched together, 1 up top. Glenn will stand in the backfield to the left side of Renda, and Renda follows him down the right sideline, and good for another first down to the 35-yard line. Another big gainer, 15 or 12 yards for Renda, and he's putting the team on his shoulders as well.
Absolutely, and we knew that this would be a matchup of quarterbacks and a matchup of offenses, and you're seeing that here, 21-21. We're in the second quarter right now, and it feels like we should be in the fourth.
As good as both offenses are, still it's been a special teams matchup who's determining this football game.
And the defenses have made plays as well, so any side of the football can make a big play at any moment.
Give him 11 yards. They spotted at the 36. Renda gives it this time to Glenn up the middle. Maybe 3 to the 38-yard line. So maybe a couple of yards there. No, I take that back. The 33-yard line.
Gain of 3.
Feels like the first time that Geyer's been able to kind of stop Southlake from getting 10 to 12 yards in a minute and hold them to a 2nd and medium. We'll see if they can continue to do that or if the trends of Southlake.
Ball just on the inside of the right hash. For 2nd down and 7. There's 9:33 on the clock. Game tied at 21. We're in the second quarter. Renda drops back 3 steps, looking across the middle. He's going to fire it, and he one-hops his his receiver there, which was Boyd. Renda had a lot of room to run if he wanted to take it, but decided to step up and throw it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. If he had kept taking it, and there was only 1 defender to beat, so if he could have somehow beaten him, he could have been off to the races right there, but instead decides to be more conservative and throw it, but just one-hops him a little bit short.
So it's 3rd down and 7 rather, with 9:22 left to go in the second. Game tied at 22. Renda and Glenn in the backfield. Glenn to the right side, maybe a step back, now equal as Renda takes a step back. Glenn goes in motion out of the backfield. Renda throws it his way and overshoots him. It's 4th down.
He's actually lucky that he overshoots them there because on Geyer's the corner, Jace Johnson jumped that route, and if that had been a perfectly timed throw, he's taking that thing all the way to the house.
We're looking at a 50-yard field goal if they attempt to go that way, but I don't think they are looking for Gavin Strange for 3 points right here. Renda and everybody's back out on 4th down and 7. All alone in the backfield is Renda. Two receivers up top, 3 at the bottom. Drops back 3 steps, fires right side. Going to be caught near a first down. It's going to be very close. Depends on the spot. Brock Boyd made the catch near the Southlake bench, right at the 25-yard line. That's going to be close, and it is a first down. They go ahead and move the sticks. Boy, that was, if he needed an inch, he got the inch.
That's about as close as you can get, at least from our perspective. That's about as close as you can get to getting a first down and still just barely getting it.
9:12 on the clock. Game tied 21-21. Glenn comes back in the backfield and moves to the left side of Renda. 3 receivers at the bottom to the left side of Renda. Handoff to Glenn. Has some open room down to the 17-yard line before he's popped. Really hammered by the linebacker, Caleb Fowler.
Yeah, Fowler, I mean, he was running, and then he ran into Fowler, and then it was like he hit a brick wall. He just stopped, and he fell, and great play by Fowler.
8 yards for Glenn. We'll bring up a second down and short. A lot of times coaches like to take this opportunity to fire it towards the end zone. We'll see what happens here on the second down and short. 3 receivers up top. They fire it towards the end zone, into the end zone. It's a touchdown for Southlake Carroll as Brady Knowles makes the catch. The big, tall basketball player won that matchup with the cornerback, Jonah Shamey. We talked about that in the pregame show. That time it plays for Brady Knowles as he scores from 17 yards out on the Renda pass and catch.
And you called it, Monty. You called it perfectly on 2nd and 4, a pass towards the end zone because, you know, the defense has got to kind of decide to cover one or the other. It's hard to cover both, and they chose run, and Southlake chose pass, and here's what you end up with.
The extra point is up, and it is true, and Southlake Carroll takes a 28-21 lead with 8:32 remaining in quarter number 2. You're listening to Millennium Sports presentation of Geyer Wildcats quarterfinal championship football powered by TSP at gotsp.live.
Timeout. All right. Remember, we're a team that plays together. Listen, the winning will take care of itself. We just have to get everyone involved.
In interscholastic sports, we celebrate what makes every one of us unique. And in the pursuit of a common goal, everyone in the huddle, in the bleachers, and in the community comes together. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
10 plays, an impressive drive. 10 plays, 84 yards on the drive there for Southlake Carroll. And it was a big 4th down conversion with the catch from Renda to Brock Boyd that kept the drive going at the 25-yard line, which resulted eventually into a 17-yard touchdown reception by Brady Knowles from Angelo Renda. And that brings us our new score as Gavin Strange will now, after the PAT successful, all PATs have been true so far. He'll now tee it up to kick this one away, and he does. It's a deep kick, which will go into the end zone. This one halfway deep in the end zone. Not much of a wind down here in the bowl.
1st and 10 for the Wildcats.
But he was able to put his foot into that one, and now Geyer will go the other way, moving left to right and bring their offense back on the field once again, starting from their own 25-yard line with 8:32 remaining in quarter number 2.
It sounds kind of crazy to think this and to say this, but to me, I'm getting the feeling that almost every drive feels like a must score for both of these teams.
It does. It really does.
Geyer's got to respond here.
Sperry claps twice, looks left side to throw, has his man's going to be caught. Gunner makes the catch just shy of the first down as he goes out of bounds after an 8-yard pickup at the 33-yard line.
Sperry he's impressive. He's very impressive. I mean, every throw is
2nd and 2
so far has been perfectly accurate.
So 2nd down and 2 coming up. Cobb's in the backfield along with Sperry, and he'll get the carry here. Good enough for a first down, but not much more after that as the linebacking crew from the Dragons were there pretty quickly. They'll spot it at the 36-yard line, So give Cobbs 3 yards, but more importantly, give him the first down. 1st and 10, left to right. From the middle of the field, again, Cobbs gets the carry here. Dances his way through the middle of the lane, and will pick up another 8 or 9 yards. 8 yards to the 44-yard line.
I believe that Schneider's actually back into the game for Geyer.
Oh, that is Schneider. I'm sorry.
I think he's carried the last 2.
My apologies. 2nd down and 2, 7:37 on the clock. Couple of claps. Schneider again the carry. And he's going to be right at the stick. Needed to get to the 46-yard line to pick up the first down, and he got right there. Needed to, got to.
This game it almost feels like one of those games where the team that touches the ball last is going to win type of game. So every possession is vitally important for these teams.
Sperry and Schneider in the backfield. 2 receivers stacked on top of each other on the right side. Schneider gets the carry. The ball comes out. He was able to leap for it and grab it and haul it back in. That one looked very, very dangerous.
Man, and this weather is proving to be more of an impact than I think any of us even thought it would be, as that was almost the 4th turnover that we've had, but it still ends up being quite a bit of lost yardage and setting them up with a 2nd and tough.
It's a 2-yard loss, which sets up a 2nd down and 12 with 6:32. You know, this drizzling rain, umbrellas out. Mahlon not even in an umbrella, nothing out there.
I don't know how I'm making it. Just willpower at this point.
Sperry drops back 2 steps, 3 steps, tires deep ball down to Mason White, joggles it, tries to haul it in and couldn't. He had it in his hands for a moment now. It was not an easy catch to make. He tried to catch it as the ball was coming right over his head and a little bit to his right shoulder. And the ball, he juggled it for a moment. I thought he was going to be able to tip it up and haul it in and was unable to do so, and it falls out of his hands at about the 4-yard line.
Big missed opportunity. What a throw by Sperry. That's a perfect throw. And I feel like maybe he didn't even expect that throw to be as good as it was, because he put his hands down, he turned over his shoulder, and the ball just hit him square in the hands, and he kind of juggled it for a bit.
It's a difficult catch to make, no question about it.
Absolutely.
Alone in the backfield is Sperry. He'll step up in the pocket, and he's going to be sacked at the 42-yard line on 3rd down and 12, so that'll bring up 4th down and most likely a punt time, but now you've got to wonder what happens in this punt situation. Do you continue to send the punt team out knowing that the last 2 have sailed over the punter's head? And that's what they're going to do. The punter may want to back up instead of being 11 or 13 yards, may want to back up 15 or 16.
Yeah.
So here's the all-important snap. It's a good one. And the punt is a wobbly kick, a high kick. It's going to bounce at the 32. It may have hit. There's a scramble for the football at the 30-yard line. It must have hit a Dragon.
In the helmet. It hit them in the helmet on the punt, and it bounced off of him, and then mad scramble with the field being a little bit slippery. It looked like Geyer was going to be able to get on it and recover it, but somehow, through all that slippage, Southlake's able to get on the ball and able to get their possession started.
Woo! We've had it all today, have we not?
What have we not seen?
Wow. 5:18 left to go in the second. And Carroll, who was able to, or Southlake Carroll, who was able to recover, will retain possession and start from their own 29-yard line. Moving right to left. Rinda and company comes back on the field. Christian Glenn was to the right, but a timeout's been called. We're going to take 1-2. We'll be right back in 30 seconds. Millennium Sports, you're listening to Millennium Sports presentation of Geyer Wildcats quarterfinal championship football, powered by TSP at gotsp.live.
This commercial isn't about us. It's about you. It's about you and your first sip of your jalapeno margarita. It's about you and the fresh avocado and your shrimp ceviche. You and your family enjoying a good meal and good company. Celebrating with your closest friends, making a toast to a good year. Dessert, your favorite, Cinco Leches. When it's about you, you know you're at the right place. Make your reservation. Make it about you. Make it Macero.
Welcome back to Datku Stadium, University of North Texas in Denton, Texas. We've got a great football game going on right now. Southlake Carroll leads Geyer 28-21, and what have we not seen? We've seen fumbles on special teams. We've seen a special team miscue for a touchdown. We've seen long receptions for touchdowns. We've seen short rushes for touchdowns. And here's Southlake Carroll coming back out on the field from their own 29-yard line. First down. Glenn goes out of the backfield in motion. A quick pass over the middle is incomplete as Renda was hit as he threw, was trying to throw a little jump pass, and had the receiver been able to haul that one in, he had a lot of room to run, but it was just over his head as Renda had all kinds of pressure in his face.
Yeah, the pressure by Zane Rowe and Kyron Haywood right there, causing him to let go of that a little bit early and a little bit rushed, if not plenty of room for the receiver to get maybe a first down close to it. But, the defensive pressure right there caused that. Second down and 10.
Man goes in motion. Renda ducks a defender and throws it down the field. A first down reception by Brock Boyd. And that will move the sticks at the 43-yard line. 14 yards on the pass and catch. And Carroll's in business again offensively, it appears, with 4:59 on the clock and rolling.
The pressure didn't get to him this time the same way it did the first time. He pump faked, then he stepped up in the pocket, and then he delivered a strike for a first down over the middle.
The white jerseys of Southlake are pointing across the line at their blocks. And Renda hands off to Glenn, who might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage, but I think he lost a yard back to the 42.
Zane Rowe on the tackle.
And again, you may hear from the crowd mic, Zane Rowe making the tackle, and he's been all over the field. He's headed to the University of Oklahoma, as a lot of the Geyer kids have over the years. And we've got a lot of former Geyer Wildcats. Where are they now? We'll get to that maybe at halftime. Jackson Arnold, who decommitted, so to speak. And here's Renda. Up the middle and a lot of room to run all alone. This is a foot race which he will win to the 5 and in the end zone.
Angelo Renda.
Touchdown Angelo Renda and Southlake Carroll as he sprints 58 yards for the score. And they continue to improve upon their lead over Geyer. Now it's 34-21 as Renda had all kinds of daylight, if there were such a thing in a day like this, and he took it.
I'm just shocked that he was that open or had that much space. Once he got out, I was like, I thought there'd be a safety back there. No one was back there at all. As soon as he got through the line, complete open space and ran into the end zone completely untouched.
Strange's point after attempt is up. It is good.
So 35-21, our new score with 3:58. We'll leave it here, Jake. 3:58 left to go in the second quarter. And that caps off a 4-play drive that went 71 yards for Southlake Carroll. And so far on our drives, we've had 3 plays for 30 for Geyer. We've had 2 plays for 51 for Southlake Carroll. We've had 7 plays for 68 from Carroll. Or 2 plays for 51 for Geyer, 7 plays for 68 for Carroll. 1 play for 6 yards from Southlake. 4 plays for 73 from Geyer, 10 plays for 84 from Southlake, and now 4 plays for 71 for Southlake. Back-to-back scores by the Dragons, and they now lead 35-21. 3:58 to go before the half.
And since about that 10-minute mark in the first quarter, Geyer's been outscored 35-7.
Wow.
In that time.
The kickoff is in the air, and it's going to go into the end zone again. This one about 4 yards deep in the end zone. On the E in Texas, it's the second portion of North Texas in the end zone. So Geyer will have it starting at their own 25-yard line with 3:58 on the clock before the half. And at some point, Geyer, they're going to have to, the quick strike again. Here they, coming out of another huddle with your offensive coordinator. Do you go back to your big offensive weapons of Mason White and try another quick in or such? 2 receivers bunched to the right, one up top. Sperry in shotgun formation will hand off. No, he fires a quick strike. Exactly what we thought. This time on the other side, it's Gunner instead of Mason White, and that'll be a big pickup up to the 42-yard line.
Number 5, DJ Reese. That's good for a walk.
Yeah.
17 yards.
Yeah, DJ Reese on that catch out there. And that's the exact same thing that we saw, but from the opposite side of the field. Super quick throw, like almost immediately.
1st and 10. Sperry wants to throw again, right side at the near corner, and it is maybe one hop. Was it caught? It was caught at the 47-yard line. On the reception was Sonoris Gray. I thought he might have one-hopped it because Gray had his back turned towards us, and I couldn't tell. He did have to go down for it, but apparently he did not trap it. He hauled it in.
Yeah, and I thought that he caught it, dropped it, and then caught it again is what it kind of looked like, but great catch nonetheless by Gray.
The officials were right there. It's 1st and 10, a handoff. Right side. Spinning out of a tackle is Martins, racing down the sideline at the 31-yard line. They'll say he stayed in bounds, so the clock will run, and they'll call him down at the 32. 15 yards for Aiden Martins on the carry.
Great run by Martins. Got outside towards our end of the field and then spun off of a defender. Thought he was going to be going down there and then just kept churning. And we've seen a lot of that from both teams.
2 receivers either side. Shockley goes in motion from right to left. He'll set up as an H-back. Another handoff again to Martins, trapped from behind. Does gain a couple of yards to the 30, which will bring up a 2nd down and 8. 2:28 and rolling here before the half.
Yeah, Van Dorsler able to just blow up the block before it was even able to take place, and just a quick end to that play.
Sperry and Martins in the backfield. 2 receivers left, 1 right. Shockley is the H-back. Sperry's going to keep it around the left edge. Gets a seam right up the middle. Finally hammered down at the 12-yard line, but another 1st down, and now Geyer's in great position to score right here before the half and make it a 1-touchdown game.
Read the block perfectly off the edge. The running back right there, number 23, Aiden Martins, he blocked the guy left, and then Sperry was able to just go straight up the middle for good yardage, and you can really see his speed over and over again. He's just a heck of an athlete.
Sperry picked up 17 yards right up the middle. 137 and rolling. In the gun, claps twice. Has it. He's going to keep it around the right edge, trying to beat to the corner, and he does somehow keep his feet, goes out of bounds at the 7-yard line. That does stop the clock with 1:26. He had the wherewithal to get out of bounds.
Second quarter is kind of flown by after that quick first quarter, and here we are with a big-time drive for Geyer. And remember, Geyer gets the ball to start the second half, so this makes this drive even bigger.
Essentially, they got the ball to start the first half after the fumble. Sperry's going to be caught in the backfield. A great play defensively by Robbie Ladd, the linebacker. And that will possibly force a timeout, but they're not calling one. Geyer is not calling one just yet. Now they do. With 1:13 left, that'll spot the ball back to the 8-yard line. Give Sperry a 1-yard loss. We'll keep it here, Jake Roberts. Now, Geyer can get to the 3-yard line to pick up a 1st down, but they're running out of time. There's 1:13 on the clock, which is plenty of time. Geyer has 2 timeouts left, and Southlake has 2 timeouts left.
You almost wonder if this is one of those you don't want to score too soon, because you don't want to leave time on the clock for Southlake to be able to go down there and do what they've done all game, which is just score at will.
That's a great point. And on third down, Geyer's going to need about 5 yards to pick up a first, maybe 6. It looks like possibly 6.
The more you think about this is a big third down for Geyer, because not only to keep control of the clock, but also to keep control of being able to stay in this game. You do not want to give Southlake the ball back with timeouts and time left.
Geyer's going to have to pick up somewhere around 4+ yards here to make it a fourth and thinkable to go for it.
Right.
Or you can take the 3 points, which are fairly automatic with Ford Stinson. Sperry's wants to throw, drops back 3 steps, lots of time, now flushed out right, throws it out of bounds. And that'll stop the clock at 1:05. And now it'll be 4th and 6. And decision time here, the decision has been made to kick the field goal.
Quick decision. You think that they probably already had talked about that.
I think they knew what they were going to do. They had it mapped out. Reed Heim and his coaching staff were already prepared for this 26-yard field goal from the right hash by Ford Stinson. It's on, let's see, the snap's back, it's on the tee, the kick is up, looks very high and very good. Stinson is dang near automatic. His longest 46 of the year, but that 3-point field goal makes it an 11-point game, 35-24. You're listening to Millennium Sports presentation of Geyer Wildcats quarterfinal championship football powered by TSP at gotsp.live.
DeBerry Funeral Directors of Denton provide families with personal and professional services, keeping their wishes in the time of need. Our phones are answered 24 hours at 940-383-4200 by Bill DeBerry or another family funeral director. We are here for you. Call anytime at 940-383-4200. Details online at DeBerryFuneralDirectors.com.
Jake Roberts, as you mentioned a moment ago, did they score too quickly?
I think so. I mean, you left a minute on the clock and 2 timeouts for Southlake. That's plenty of time for them we've seen today.
Here's a high pooch kick going to be taken at the 23-yard line. Coming near side, escaping through defenders. Now bounces, somehow keeps his feet off to the races, crossing the 50. This is not good news for Geyer, as on the other side of the field for Southlake, Carroll goes Carter O'Neill.
And now you really left enough time on the clock. 52 seconds, and they're in plus territory.
That's actually Luke Jacquemart on the return. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, what I was saying, I mean, they're set up with great field position and plenty of time, and Geyer just got to dig deep here to get a stop and keep themselves in this contest.
Now they're, Reed Heim and company are thinking about, man, we should have just kicked that one deep. 1st and 10. Renda looks left, in trouble. Behind the line of scrimmage, he's taken down. That's going to be a sack. Back to the 45-yard line.
Huge play right there. Keeps the clock going, forces them to think about using a timeout. Looks like they're not going to use a timeout. The clock continues. Looks like they're set on just taking this to the half now.
I don't know why you wouldn't use a timeout there.
Either. They just...
2nd down and 13. Renda sends a man out of the backfield. Drops back 3 steps, looks left, hammers it down left. Got a man wide open. No, it's picked off. Picked off, coming to the near side to the 40. Look out, 45. Down the sidelines to the 40. Escapes another defender. Finally brought down from behind. A flag is down at the 31-yard line, and so is Jonah Shamey. It's his 5th interception of the year, and it came at a beautiful time for Geyer, but it leaves 6 seconds on the clock after he dances down the sidelines.
Well, you wonder, does this put Geyer in the position again to kick a field goal? I'm not sure the range.
During the return, unsportsmanlike conduct.
Oh no, this definitely will take them out of any thought of that, Jake Roberts, says it's an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against Geyer, which will back him up 15 yards.
Just a penalty you can't have, and a very avoidable penalty. And I guess we're down to a Hail Mary attempt.
If you even, you're getting the ball back to start the half. I'm not sure I would even, it's not like Sperry can't launch it down there.
He certainly can.
So Jonah Shamey with the win right there over Brady Knowles, as that was the intended receiver.
And Southlake's defense, they have a huge gap in between about the 20 to 30 yard line, so you wonder if maybe they're going to try to get into field goal range with the 6 seconds they have.
Sperry's going to try to run it. No, he's going to throw it. Hammers it deep down the field. That one's going to be almost picked off. It was in the arms.
After one half of play, Wildcats.
Apparently, it was in the arms of Brock Boyd, but that will end the half, as that was not even close to a Geyer receiver. There were two safeties back for Southlake, Boyd being one of them, and both of them had a shot at the football, but it fell incomplete.
They kind of ran into each other on that. And
now the bands are on the field, and it's halftime. 35-24, we've got a barn burner here at Datku Stadium at the University of North Texas. So now we're in the Scott Brown Group of Denton halftime show. And Jake, can you go ahead and read some sponsors for us?
Yeah, Millennium Sports and the Geyer Wildcats wish to thank today's broadcast sponsors: Build-A-Berry Funeral Directors of Denton, the Scott Brown Group of Education, Anchor Energy, Solar Solutions of DFW, State Farm Agent Earl Wood of Fort Worth, author James C. Bivens' book, Walking Through the Valley of Grief, available now on Amazon. Mazzaro Mexican Restaurants of DFW, Harris Ratings Weekly of Corinth and Van Harris. Geyer Wildcats Football. Wildcats' historic 2024 football season continues here, our 12th consecutive season with Millennium Sports with worldwide audience. You can make it possible for family, former student athletes, players, and fans to follow Denton Geyer worldwide and receive shout-outs or business ads by sponsoring the broadcasts. Call or shoot a text to John Froh, president of Millennium Sports, at 214-642-7003 or email jmfroh@att.net.
All right, it's 35-24. We're in the we're in the Scott Brown Group of Denton halftime show. When we come back, we'll go over some stats. We'll go over the scores from around the area. We'll have some highlights and a recap of the first half. And we'll do that all when we come back right after this. You're listening to the Millennium Sports presentation of Geyer Wildcats quarterfinal championship football, powered by TSP at gotsp.live.
Lucy Fuller, Senior Lieutenant.
Founded in 2002, Scott Brown Commercial is the trusted name in Denton County when buying, selling, leasing, or investing in commercial real estate. Scott Brown Commercial offers integrity and professionalism, providing innovative solutions. Details available online at sbpcommercial.com.
Founded in 1990, the DeBerry Funeral Directors, located at 2025 West University Drive in Denton, offer traditional services to cremations or anything in between. The Bill DeBerry family provide ongoing pre-planning and pre-need services, making the life transition smoother. Details are available online at DeBerryFuneralDirectors.com.
Anchor Energy is DFW's leading provider of residential and commercial solar solutions. Did you notice your monthly bill skyrocketing 100% over the last 3 years? Anchor Energy has solar options to lower your bill up to 25% with no risk or upfront cost. Go to Anchor Energy for a free consult with David or Brian to develop your custom Anchor Energy plan. Act now. Go to anchor.energy.
Get on your feet and put your hands to the beat. Clap along as students from the Carroll.
We're in the Scott Brown Group of Denton halftime show. we've got some stats for you to go over from this first half. We'll start out with.
And now here it is.
My goodness, that is such a loud crowd, Mike. There we go. We'll start out with the Geyer Wildcats. Offensively, Kevin Sperry, according to the Dallas Morning News, is 5 out of 9. Let's see. Nope. 5 out of 10 for 50 yards. I don't think this is up to date. This doesn't appear like this is. My guess is that Sperry has thrown more than 10 passes in the first half, but maybe not. Maybe that's accurate. We'll give Dallas Morning News, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt for sure. Kevin Sperry, again, 5 out of 10 passing for 50, for 125 yards and 2 touchdowns. Rushing, he's rushed 14 times for 87 yards and 1 touchdown. Sterling Schneider has rushed 6 times for 32 yards. Aiden Martins 3 times for 27 yards. Caden Cobbs 4 for 17. And Danny Jenkins, the punter, gets credit for losing 28 yards on 1 rush. And he got injured as well. So not good there. Southlake Carroll passing, Angelo Renda 7 out of 13 rather. 97 yards on the afternoon so far. 1 touchdown and 1 interception. For Carroll, Renda also leads in rushing with 8 carries for 120 yards, and he has also scored a touchdown. Christian Glenn has carried 6 times for 12 yards, and he has 2 touchdowns on the ground. Through the air, Mason White leads Geyer's receivers with 2 catches for 87 yards, and he's got 2 touchdowns. DJ Reese also caught 3 for 38, as well as on the Southlake Carroll side, Brock Boyd has hauled in 4 for 41, Blake Gunner 2 for 38, and Brody Knowles 1 for 18, and that one was the touchdown. So Knowles, if our pregame matchup that we were looking at was Brady Knowles, the big 6'6 receiver, versus Jonah Shamey, the 5'9 cornerback, both outstanding players. Knowles had a touchdown early in the game, and then Jonah Shamey just got the interception just prior to the half. So punch per punch on that matchup there. Team stats. Geyer has 260 total yards compared to Southlake's 232. Geyer leads in passing 125 to 97, and rushing deadlocked at 135. Both teams have 135 yards on the ground. So, this game has come down a lot to special teams, as we mentioned early in the game. But penalties, Geyer has 2 for 10. Carroll has none. Both teams have 1 turnover.
Diamond sponsors for the Dragon Band are HTO.
Carroll has lost 1. Geyer has 2 turnovers, but only lost 1. So that is your stat board, which is brought to you by State Farm agent Earl Wood. We're going to take a quick time out. You're listening to Millennium Sports presentation of Geyer Wildcats Quarterfinal Championship Football, powered by TSP at gotsp.live. And right now, while we're doing that, I got a spot to run. Let's do that.
It's time to be loud and proud for the Carroll Dragon Fight Song.
A minor accident can turn into a hassle. Fort Worth State Farm agent Earl Wood offers auto insurance with a combination of service, price, and protection. Earl's office is at 2900 South Hewland, Suite 50 in Fort Worth. Details available online at earlwood.biz. That's earlwood.biz. Fort Worth State Farm agent Earl Wood. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
This commercial isn't about us. It's about you. It's about you and your first sip of your jalapeno margarita. It's about you and the fresh avocado and your shrimp ceviche. You and your family enjoying a good meal and good company. Celebrating with your closest friends, making a toast to a good year. Dessert, your favorite, Cinco Leches. When it's about you, you know you're at the right place. Make your reservation, make it about you, make it Macero.
Whether moving for the first time, relocating to Denton, or looking to downsize, leasing can be a great option. Regardless of what you're looking for, Scott Brown Properties of Denton is ready to help. Details available online at scottbrownproperties.net.
Welcome back to Datku Stadium. Monte Walker along with Jake Roberts and Mahlon Walker. You're in the Scott Brown Group of Denton halftime show. We also have the Scott Brown Group of Denton scoreboard, which we'll give you here in just a moment. We are, let's see, I'm trying to pull up these scores here. We'll start with some earlier in the week. Gunner defeated Holiday 33-7. Joaquin Rams over Honeygrove. They ended their season 46-22. The Munster Hornets beat Collinsville 54-14. Highland Park beat Frisco Lone Star 41-28. Argyle with the win last night beat Lovejoy 42-17. So Todd Dodge, Todd Dodge got his season ended last night over in Lovejoy. Tyler Chapel Hill lost to Kilgore. Salina beat Alvarado 55-21. North Crowley shut out the Allen Eagles. Actually, that's going on right now. That's in the third quarter. North Crowley over Allen, 21-0. We've got the Denton Ryan Raiders in a barn burner, 24-21 over Aledo. That's in the fourth quarter. There's 11:53 left to go in that game. And then, of course, here it's 35-24. Southlake Carroll in the lead over your Geyer Wildcats. And that is your Scott Brown Group of Denton scoreboard. Don't forget, we've got some highlights that we're going to have here fairly soon. The holidays are upon us. Want to earn some more money? Get paid to work out. Go to careers.valleyliving.com and check out the many part-time opportunities in your local area. Valley Living, setting the standard. Valley Living is a proud sponsor of the Texas Sports Productions.
Senior, Madeline Mortal.
If you're insured with Allstate, Progressive, or Geico, or if you've had car insurance for 1 year, well, buckle up, Texas. Because Fred Loya has new rates, and we'll give you up to a 45% discount right now. Don't let your insurance company drain your wallet. Call, compare, and start saving money today. Call Fred Loya at 1-800-444-4040, and you can save up to 45% on your car insurance. 1-800-444-4040. If you don't call, you don't save.
Welcome back to Datku Stadium. Monte Walker along with Jake Roberts and Mahlon Walker. We're at the half where Southlake Carroll leads 35-24. Let's talk a little bit about this first half. Mahlon Walker, we'll bring you in here, and let's get your thoughts so far of what you've seen.
Just utter chaos in the best way. I mean, a high-scoring game this early in the game, man, you never see that. That's just amazing. What I will note is that the long snapper, after those two high snaps, he brought a towel on that about went all the way to the ground. It was that large. So, and after that, no bad snap.
So, do you think the weather and the rain, the wet ball, do you think that it played a factor into those snaps?
Oh, definitely. As a former long snapper myself, I can tell you if there's any sweat in that ball, there's no telling where it's going to go.
Well, there were gallons and gallons of sweat. so-called rain that was on that ball today. Just a kind of a miserable day out there as far as the weather goes. It's great if you're wanting to watch some great high school football. Other than that, it's just miserable out there, is it not?
That's exactly right. I call this television ball. It's great if you're watching it, but it's not great to be in it.
Yeah, and it did play a factor, I think, on the crowd size. These two teams have a huge following, and this being the game of magnitude it is, you generally get more fans from other schools to see games like this, but not seeing the crowd that you would normally see at a quarterfinal 6A game, I wouldn't think.
That's exactly right. And with the college-level stadium, it kind of just makes it feel even more elevated.
Yeah, the play on the field is certainly 6A Division II level, but the crowd size indicates more of maybe a 3A Division II, maybe even that. It is certainly not what these two schools are accustomed to.
That's exactly right.
So tell us about what you're seeing defensively from both teams. I know the turnovers played a special part in this game. Talk about the defenses. What are you seeing from either side?
Well, I'm especially impressed with the secondary and the line work from both sides. I feel like with the conditions on the field, they're moving excellently. They're getting their assignments done. They're even making big plays that result in impact of this game.
All right, I think we're about ready for some highlights here momentarily. So let's do... I'll tell you what, are you just about ready for that, Jake Roberts? I guess we can take a break real quick. We'll give him a little bit more time to get ready for that. Let's see. Let me find out where we're at on this list. I think we are at this point right here. I'm kind of pointing out to Jake where we are. He had to go upstairs and cut some highlights real quick for us. We're going to take a quick timeout. You're listening to Millennium Sports presentation of Geyer Wildcats quarterfinal championship football, powered by TSP at gotsp.live.
Is your sky-high monthly energy bill causing sleepless nights? Anchor Energy has cost-effective solutions to save you up to 25% with no upfront cost solar solutions. We know what you're facing. Go to anchor.energy for a free consult with either David or Brian. Your solution to a better future is waiting now at anchor.energy. That's anchor.energy.
Timeout. All right. Remember, we're a team that plays together. Listen, the winning will take care of itself. We just have to get everyone involved.
In interscholastic sports, we celebrate what makes every one of us unique. And in the pursuit of a common goal, everyone in the huddle, in the bleachers, and in the community comes together. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
Welcome back. Let's go over some highlights and recap this first half, if you will. Jake, you'll just have to kind of give me a clue of what you got as we get to the second quarter of this thing. But we'll start with the beginning of the football game, which was an awkward start to this thing. Let's turn that down just a little bit so we can get... There we go. Make it more manageable as the great bands are playing in the background. Southlake Carroll was determined to get the ball first to start this football game. However, due to most likely the wet conditions and the field conditions that Mahlon told us about early in the game, it did play a factor, and it played a factor on the very first kickoff as it was fumbled and recovered by Geyer. And only 3 plays later, it was Kevin Sperry who took it in from 20 yards out.
And this time, keeping it up the middle, Sperry, he may be in, and he is. It's touchdown time in Texas. Kevin Sperry takes it right behind. Caden Cobbs up the middle, right behind right guard, and punches it in from the 20-yard line.
That capped off a 3-play, 30-yard drive and gave Geyer the first points of this game, 7-0, with 10:30 on the clock in the first quarter. Southlake Carroll was forced to punt after just 3 plays on their first possession. They gave it back to Geyer, who drove 2 plays and 51 yards, and it was a big strike to Mason White.
2nd down and 2. There's your pass that you want. Sperry goes deep, right side, all alone in the end zone, and it's caught. Touchdown, and it's Mason White.
43 yards on the pass and catch from Sperry to Mason White. Ended, as I said a moment ago, 2 plays and 51-yard drive. Gave Geyer a 14-0 lead with 8:25 left to go in the first. Southlake Carroll was in trouble. But here they come back, starting at their own 32-yard line. 7 plays later, Christian Glenn punches it in.
The door of the 2, handoff to Glenn, pushes his way in. It's touchdown. It's a touchdown for Southlake Carroll.
And that ended a 7-play, 68-yard drive and cut the lead in half of Geyer at 14-7 with 6:34 left to go in the first quarter. Geyer got the ball back at their own 25-yard line, drove 6 plays but had to punt it away, and it sailed over. The snap sailed over the head of the punter, John, and he was hurt for a moment. That gave Southlake Carroll great field position, knocking on the door at the 6-yard line, and it took them 1 play to do it.
Everybody bunched together. Here's a handoff to Glenn, a big seam, not even touched in the end zone. Touchdown, Southlake Carroll.
And that tied the game at 14. 3:39 was left on the first quarter clock at that moment. Geyer got the ball back at that mark at their own 20-yard line. But once again, the punt snap sailed over the head of John. This time, not so fortunate as it was recovered, picked up for a touchdown.
Snap is over the head again. Racing back to try to get this one all the way back to the 5-yard line, trying to fall on it, and this time it's picked up by Southlake Carroll and ran into the end zone for a touchdown. Ethan Fisher picked it up at the 3, scooped and scored his way on in.
That gave Carroll a 21-14 lead, their first lead of the game with 48 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Geyer got it back at their own 27, and again, 4 plays later, it was Sperry to Mason White. And it was a quick strike pass and ended a 4-play, 73-yard drive, and that retied the game at 21 apiece with 11:26 left to go in the second quarter. Southlake Carroll took it at their own 16. They drove 10 plays before Brady Knowles was able to catch it from Renda.
Towards the end zone, into the end zone. It's a touchdown for Southlake Carroll as Brady Knowles makes the catch. The big, tall basketball player won that matchup with the cornerback, Jonah Shamey. We talked about that.
That ended a 10-play, 84-yard drive for Southlake Carroll and regained them the lead, 28-21 with 8:32 remaining in the second quarter. Geyer took it at their own 25 and had to punt. This time a successful punt. It didn't sail over the head of John. Southlake Carroll got it at their own 29, and they drove 4 plays and 71 yards before punching it in.
Renda up the middle and a lot of room to run all alone. This is a foot race which he will win to the 5 and in the end zone.
42 yards for Renda as he extended Southlake's lead 35-21 with 3:58 on the clock. Geyer took it at their own 25 and ended up settling for a 26-yard field goal by Ford Stinson. And then moments ago, Southlake had a final attempt at it, but Jonah Shamey intercepted Renda, but it only left 6 seconds on the clock, and that virtually ended the half. So, Jake, we've, let's see, let me mark off all the things that we're supposed to do. We've had the scoring drives. We did that, which was brought to you by Bill DeBerry Funeral Services. I want to thank them for that. We've gone through the stat board. We've gone through the scoreboard. And let's see, we've done that. Scores, we can go around scores around the area once again. Let's get an update on that if we can find one. Let's see. What we have is North Crowley leading Allen 21-0. We have Denton Ryan over Aledo in the fourth quarter, 24-21. And, of course, here we have Southlake Carroll over Geyer, 35-24. So, let's take a quick timeout, shall we? Jake Roberts.
A minor accident can turn into a hassle. Fort Worth State Farm agent Earl Wood offers auto insurance with a combination of service, price, and protection. Earl's office is at 2900 South Hewland, Suite 50 in Fort Worth. Details available online at earlwood.biz. That's earlwood.biz. Fort Worth State Farm agent Earl Wood. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
DeBerry Funeral Directors of Denton provide families with personal and professional services, keeping their wishes in the time of need. Our phones are answered 24 hours at 940-383-4200 by Bill DeBerry or another family funeral director. We are here for you. Call anytime at 940-383-4200. Details online at DeBerryFuneralDirectors.com.
Welcome back to Datku Stadium. Monte Walker along with Jake Roberts and Mahlon Walker. You're in the Scott Brown group of Denton halftime show. And Jake, let's talk a little bit about this second half and what are we going to need to do to see another great half.
A lot more of the same.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, Geyer has been so impressive, but so has Southlake Carroll. Obviously, they lead by 11 points here at the University of North Texas. What's Geyer going to have to do to eliminate that 11-point deficit?
They're going to have to come out, and they get the ball to start the second half, so they need to come out, and they've got to score. And it's felt like this the whole game. Every possession is a must-score for every team. Geyer's got to come out. They've got to score. They've got to maybe enforce their will a little bit, and then at this point, they've got to get a stop. A turnover, a stop. Something's got to change, or this shootout is just going to keep going back and forth with Southlake having a bit of an edge right now. But don't think that 11 points is insurmountable, because we've seen that 11 points can be scored in like 2 seconds. So this game, far from over, far from even starting, it feels like, with how this game has gone. And if you're filling out bingo cards, boy, we've had a lot of bingos so far.
Well, we have. You can if and but this thing back and forth all day long, but had the ball not sailed over the punter's head twice, what kind of different football game would we have right now?
It's completely different, and I mean that's why special teams is so vital to teams. A lot of time, for a lot of games, maybe they don't have as big of an impact, but in big time games like this, the impact is just huge.
Well, those two turnovers, if you will, because that what amounts to a turnover, they don't go down in the stat book as a turnover, but they are. Anytime you snap it over the punter's head and give them the ball for a touchdown or give them the ball at the 6-yard line, that's virtually a turnover. Yeah. You take away those two scores, and Southlake has 21 points, and just that.
Yeah.
Even if Geyer did nothing else, Geyer would have the lead 24-21.
Yeah.
We're talking about a totally different football game.
And that's the margin in football, isn't it? The margin of error in football is razor thin. And to be able to come out here and pull off the 11-point comeback and for Geyer to move on in these playoffs, they're going to need great plays and just a little bit of luck, because that's what it ultimately comes down to.
Jake, you want to read some sponsors for us?
Yes. Millennium Sports and the Geyer Wildcats wish to thank today's broadcast sponsors: Bill DeBerry Funeral Directors of Denton, the Scott Brown Group of Denton, Anchor Energy Solar Solutions of DFW, State Farm agent Earl Wood of Fort Worth, author James C. Bivens' book Walking Through the Valley of Grief, available now on Amazon, Zero Mexican Restaurants of DFW, Harris Ratings Weekly of Corinth and Van Harris. Geyer Wildcats football. Wildcats' historic 2024 football continues here. Our 12th consecutive season with Millennium Sports with worldwide audiences. You can make it possible for family, former student athletes, players, and fans to follow Denton Geyer worldwide and receive shout-outs or business ads by sponsoring the broadcasts. Call or shoot a text to John Froh, president of Millennium Sports, at 214-642-7003 or email jmfro@att.net.
Attention football fanatics. Don't miss out on the opportunity to be part of Texas football history, where dreams are realized, legends are born, and where unforgettable moments unfold before your very eyes. Mark your calendars for the UIL State Football Championships, December 18th through the 21st at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, where the best teams from 6-man to 6A leave it all on the field in hopes of being named champion. For the latest updates and ticket information, head over to uiltexas.org/football. Again, that's uiltexas.org/football.
Well, I hope everyone has their socks pulled up and their seat belts on, because this one's going to be a pretty wild finish, I believe. Now it may be an 11-point lead for Southlake momentarily, but Geyer is going to get the football here to start this third quarter, trailing 35-24. I have a feeling, Jake Roberts, that we're talking about a different score here momentarily.
Absolutely. I'd be shocked if this was the end game score.
Here's the kickoff. It's going to sail deep, about 8 yards deep in the end zone. What a kick. What an absolute bomb of a kick that was. So, we'll tell you what, I need to make an adjustment here on our board. Let's do this. I will bring this down just a little bit. I hear we're a little bit loud at times. So here comes Sperry back out on the field. 1st and 10, moving left to right as Geyer sends a man in motion from right to left. They'll start the second half with Sperry rolling out right, looking towards the sideline, gets out of a tackle, but gets out of bounds at the 26-yard line.
Kevin Sperry on the keeper.
Might have gained a yard. Looks like he gained a yard.
Great concentration on knowing who had the ball by Southlake. They contained him well, and there was no way for him to cut back or go forward, and he just kind of had to go down at about that 1-yard line.
The 26 is where it's at, 1-yard gain. Cobbs or Snyder, I believe, on the handoff. And he will have a little bit of breathing room, but not much.
13, Zach Hayes.
Gain up to about the 28-yard line.
This is a huge third down for Geyer early in this third quarter. You cannot allow...
Isn't every third down huge at this point?
It's felt like it, but this one specifically... I mean, I'm sure I'll say that the next time they have the ball or the next third down, but here we go.
3rd down and 6. 11-17 left to go here in the third quarter. First series. Sperry's going to keep it around the right side. He's got a first down and more. He's slung down at the 38-yard line. A good pickup there. And your huge play was converted, Jake Roberts.
Absolutely. Great play by Sperry, recognizing where he needed to go, following the blocks of Adrian Navarez and Brody Hamilton, and just getting it done. Tough grit, putting his head down, running the football, and getting a first down. That's the big plays that they're going to need to continue to make if they want to get themselves back into a chance to take the lead here.
Needed 6 yards and ended up with 12. So a nice play. 10:41 on the clock. It's rolling. 35-24. Southlake in the lead. Sperry's going to keep it around the left side. Gets a good block. He's got a lot of room. Now down the other sideline near the Southlake bench, and finally wrestled down at the 31-yard line. Kind of lost his balance a little bit, or he would have been able to go a long way.
And the athleticism of Sperry starting to make its imprint on this game here early in the third quarter. That's 2 plays in a row where it's just been all on Sperry. But don't forget the offensive line doing a great job up front, giving him room to be able to operate.
29 yards on the carry. Sperry going to keep it again. Over right guard, breaks through, dives forward near the 25 at the 26-yard line.
I like it. Make Southlake stop them. Hey, I'm going to keep doing this until you can stop me, is what Geyer's saying right now, with back-to-back-to-back plays, just running it straight up the middle from Kevin Sperry.
2nd down and 3 coming up for Geyer, who's moving left to right. Now at the Carroll 26-yard line. Sperry and Cobbs in the backfield. Cobbs moves from right to left. He'll get the carry here. Over right tackle, going to be close to a first down.
Cobbs on the ground.
I think they're going to mark him just a little bit short. Nope, they move the sticks.
25, straight on the tackle.
I've noticed that these refs have been very helpful with the spots for both teams so far. When there's a play that seems like maybe it's a little bit short or it's right at the sticks, it's going to be a first down almost every time. And that's gone both ways.
1st and 10 for Geyer. Sperry's going to keep it. This time he's drugged down at the line of scrimmage. A great play from behind. And William Chin, the safety, come up on a safety blitz, brought him down at 2nd down and 10. Mahlon Walker, is there any change in the weather pattern that we've seen so far from the first half?
No. If anything, the rain has actually increased significantly.
Are you okay down there?
I will be okay.
Okay. 2nd down and 10, 8:36 left to right. Sperry wants it, claps twice, gets it. He's going to keep it, trying to find a blocker. Runs behind his center, Adriano Nevarez. And that'll creep his way down to the 19-yard line. So it'll be 3rd and what appears to be 6 to go, deep in Southlake territory with 8:07 to go here in the 3rd, trailing 35-24 is Geyer.
Here's another one of these big 3rd downs right here. Seems like we were just talking about this. Geyer in a better position than they were, I would say, earlier on the drive, but still, nonetheless, got to convert here. Got to find a way to convert and find a way to keep the drive going.
Crowd coming to life from Geyer. You can hear them roar. 3rd and 6. Sperry wants to throw. Under pressure, and he is sacked way back past the 30-yard line. They'll mark him somewhere around the 30. No, they'll mark it at the 29, which is a 10-yard loss. So that big play, 3rd and 6, didn't go their way this time.
Lucky sack.
No, certainly not. And great pressure by the defensive line on Southlake, and that's just going to set up what looks like. Are they going for this?
Well, you're kind of in between area. The ball at the 29, you're looking at about a 47-yard field goal, which they say Stinson can do. He's hit one from 46 earlier this year.
But in these conditions, that definitely would factor into this, as looks like we have a timeout on the field.
Yeah, a timeout has been called. We'll keep it here for the moment. The big play, this is a big decision that they're going to have to make. And it'll be interesting to see if Ford Stinson runs out on the field. The senior kicker last week was 5 out of 6 in PATs and 1 out of 1 for field goals. He had a 28-yarder last week. He had a 26-yard field goal earlier in the game today.
And you wonder if maybe they're thinking punt?
I mean, that was the last points of this game was the Stinson 26-yard field goal. I don't know if you punt, and if you do punt, you have to trap them, I would think, within the 10 for it to be a successful punt.
I would have to agree with that for sure, because if not, then it would probably go through the back of the end zone, and then it's like
you net 9 yards.
Yeah, right. So it is kind of a strange in-between zone, and it looks like they're sending the offense back out there. So
Schneider into the game at tailback.
You thought the 3rd downs were huge. Oh, here come the 4th downs.
2 receivers stacked near the 30-yard line and one beyond him. Sperry wants to throw under pressure. He is sacked in the backfield. A humongous play by Jack Van Dorselaar.
Wow, explosive play by Van Dorselaar, and he grabbed Sperry by his shoulder pads and then just slung him down.
One thing you could not have in that situation is lose even more yards.
Right.
And back to the 40 is where Southlake Carroll will take over. Van Dorselaar made what may be the play of the game.
Up to this point, I can't think of a play that's had more of an impact.
6'5", 240-pound senior, left defensive end, came off the line of scrimmage and was right in Sperry's face. So here's Renda. He's got nowhere to go. He's sacked behind the line of scrimmage. That'll be a 4-yard loss.
Man, and maybe these defenses went in and said, hey, second half, this is going to be our half. And so they gave the offenses their half, and wow.
Yeah, that was a tremendous play as well. He had, I talked about Sperry a moment ago, looking like a squirrel, having nowhere to go, and kind of dodging and hesitating, and that's exactly what Angelo Renda did just there. And it's second down and 15. They'll mark it a 5-yard loss back to the 45. Whistles and flags before this one can get underway. And this appears to be against Southlake. It's a false start, which will back them up even further. That is on their end, not ours. That is the referee mic.
Yeah, they've kind of had issues with that all day.
So the ball now spotted at the 31.
That was a big penalty, especially when you're already negative on the drive, which makes it even worse.
Second down and 20. Renda throws a screen pass out to the right side. It's caught, but brought down immediately is Luke Giacomod. He just had nowhere to go. He had some room to run, but he looked like he ran into his own teammate who was trying to throw a block for him.
His teammate was trying to throw a block, and he couldn't really cut back in towards the field, so he kind of just had to settle with what he got. And
what he got was 4 yards.
Yeah, nothing really going there for them, especially on a 2nd and 20 like that. They wanted more yardage than that. And here we go, another big, huge 3rd down.
Christian Glenn to the left side of Renda. He'll get the carry. A little bit of room initially, but he does break through across the 40 to the 41-yard line. A gain of 6, but they needed a lot more than that. And it'll be punt time for the Carroll Dragons. 5:34 on the clock. They lead 35-24. Is this the first punt we've seen from Southlake?
Second. I believe their first drive of the game, they punted. I believe.
You're correct. The punt is a high spiraling kick. Will be fielded at the 26-yard line.
It's a heck of a catch in the rainy conditions like this.
Gunner made the catch at the 26. He was surrounded by white jerseys. And that's not easy to do.
No, and I'm kind of surprised he didn't just let it go, but good catch and able to give them a little bit of better field position.
So Geyer will take over possession from their own, it appears the 27 is where they'll spot it. There's 5:10 on the clock here in the 3rd quarter. They trail Southlake 35-24. Sperry and company comes back out on the field. I believe that's Martin's in at tailback. Man goes in motion is Shockley. And this will be a handoff. That is Martins again. Trying to find the corner. Has a good run of about 8 or 9 yards. That is
23, Martins on the carry.
That is Martins on the carry. And that's going to be a first down run. I thought he only got 8 or maybe 9, but apparently they gave him a left-footed spot, which is okay with Wildcat fans, up to the 38-yard line. So 11-yard run, actually. Shockley again in motion. Martin's the carry again. Same play left side. Spins out of a tackle. He's a tough runner up to the 45-yard line. 7-yard gain for Martins.
Yeah, just continuing to try to get something going for Geyer. Nothing's really happened in this third quarter, and after all that firepower in the first half, it's kind of slowed down here in the third quarter.
2nd down and 3. Sperry's going to keep it right behind his offensive line on the right side, trying to get a block also from Martins. It's going to be close to a first down, but I think he's just going to be a yard shy at the 47-yard line. So it's going to be 3rd and 1. Here's your big 3rd down play, Jake Roberts.
Indeed, and they're going to need a push from that offensive line to get the first down here.
Sperry's going to do it himself, but he's in trouble. They've sniffed him out. 3 white jerseys were right there to catch him in the backfield. That's going to be a loss. And now it's 4th down and 3 as the ball's spotted at the 44-yard line.
I believe he had trouble with the snap.
It's 4th and 4, actually.
I think he had trouble with the snap, and that's going to be the difference between either a first down or maybe them potentially going for it on a 4th down this close to midfield and having to punt it right back to Southlake.
And here's the all-important snap by Rockland Kelly, who's had some miscues early with the wet ball, and this punt is blocked into the arms once again. Southlake's going to return this one all the way for a touchdown. Ethan Fisher again with his 2nd special teams touchdown of the afternoon, this time on a punt block. My goodness.
Unbelievable. That bingo card is completely filled out. I don't think there's a single thing that hasn't been filled out. We've had a punt go over a head, a blocked punt, and I mean, I saw that, and it was a great snap. He just wasn't blocked properly. He came off the edge, and bam! Look at that. Southlake takes a commanding lead in this
41-24, awaiting this PAT.
Quick third quarter.
My goodness. Wow. 3:05 left to go, and we're awaiting the extra point by Gavin Strange to make it 42-24 in the rain. Snaps back, it's on the tee, the kick is up, and the kick is good. We have a new score at Datku Stadium. It's 42-24 Southlake, and I am just shocked at how this has turned about here in this third quarter. We'll be right back right after this timeout.
Founded in 1990, the DeBerry Funeral Directors, located at 2025 West University Drive in Denton, offer traditional services to cremations or anything in between. The Bill DeBerry family provide ongoing pre-planning and pre-need services, making the life transition smoother. Details are available online at DeBerryFuneralDirectors.com.
Jake, your bingo card is looking a little bit crazy.
It's slotted out.
As you mentioned a moment ago, as we come back, it's 42-24. Southlake in the lead, but they just had a punt return for a touchdown, punt block return for a touchdown. They had a snap earlier in the game that went over the punter's head. That Southlake, same Ethan Fisher, he picked that one up and ran it for a touchdown. He may be the player of the game for Southlake, the special teams guy. Here's the kick, goes into the end zone. Geyer will have another chance at another drive starting at their own 25-yard line here in just a moment.
And we talked about it earlier, but the margins of football are so thin, razor thin, that you take away the mistakes that have been made by the punting unit this game, and this is a completely different ballgame.
You know, we'll talk to Mahlon about this here in just a moment, but the crowd and the electricity that was ensuing as Geyer looked like they were about to score down here a moment ago on a 3rd and 1. Here is Sperry wanting to throw across the middle. It's great defensive play, broken up by Austin Bussman, the secondary, the safety, and that falls incomplete. But Mahlon, the crowd and the sidelines were erupting for Geyer just a moment ago, and now you can hear nothing.
Yeah, this is this is a boot camp kind of game. It'll build you up and then break you down all within this course of a quarter. It's just crazy.
2nd down and 10, 3 minutes left to go in the third quarter. Sperry wants to throw again. Deep ball, right side. And this time it's almost intercepted. It probably should have been intercepted. It was intended for Mason White. But Fisher, who's been the star of the game on special teams, playing cornerback there, had it go right through his arms.
Nothing that worked in the first half has worked in the second half offensively for either team so far up to this point. And Geyer's got to just be searching for answers.
It's basically the defenses are playing well. It comes down to special teams. Sperry, a little trickery, and that one was picked out of the sky. It's going to go as a fumble and a touchdown for Southlake. You have to be kidding me.
13, Zach Hayes in for a Carroll.
My goodness. Sperry went to toss the ball on a pitch, and coming right through the line was Zach Hayes, who caught the pitch, and then it hit the turf, and he picked it back up and scampered into the end zone.
Southlake has been watching some film. They knew exactly where that play was going, and the defensive end blew it up before he was even able to turn and give the second pitch. That's incredible. And man, this bingo card joke, I know it's a running joke at this point, but we're out of bingo cards.
My goodness. And there's the PAT. It's up and it's true. It's 49-24 all of a sudden with 2:48 left to go in the third here at Dat-Coup Stadium. You're listening to Millennium Sports presentation of Geyer Wildcats quarterfinal championship football powered by TSP at gotsp.live.
Whether moving for the first time, relocating to Denton, or looking to downsize, leasing can be a great option. Regardless of what you're looking for, Scott Brown Properties of Denton is ready to help. Details available online at scottbrownproperties.net.
Welcome back to Dat-Coup Stadium. Monte Walker along with Jake Roberts and Mahlon Walker. Geyer's going to get the ball for the third straight time, Mahlon, as we've had some crazy scenery with a punt block for a touchdown and now an offensive fumble return for a touchdown. Here's the kick. It's going to be a short one, not in the end zone. It's going to be taken by Martins, who drops it at the 2-yard line, goes into the end zone, comes back out along the right hash, up the middle, and finally down at the 15-yard line. And Martins did a good job of even returning that after the drop. Mahlon, this is absolutely incredible what we've seen the past two drives from Geyer. How do they get it back on track? Oh, hang on. Sorry.
Sometimes I'm just wondering, what's going to happen next?
Yeah.
But let's see if they can pull together and somehow salvage this game.
How does that affect a player mentality when you're on the field? Do you have that same what's going to happen next?
Yeah, because if there's something you can't control, then that would devastate you.
Here's Sperry keeping it up the middle. He's going to try to keep it himself and do this thing himself. Forward progress will get him 5 yards up to the 20-yard line. You've been on the field in some of these games, and football is all about momentum. And when things are going good, things seem easy. When things are going bad, it feels like you can't do anything right. That must be how they feel right now.
That's exactly right. You got to scrape and claw your way back into this game.
2:16 left to go in the third. Geyer down 49-24. Sperry wants to throw deep ball left side. Wide open man is Gunner. Makes a catch at the 37. He's strolling into the end zone. It's touchdown time in Texas. 80 yards from Sperry to Gunner.
You talk about scratch and claw. How about just go for the jugular right then and there?
Well, that was definitely a jugular shot. And just answering quickly back. It's still a 19-point lead for Southlake, but that's how you get back in the football game very quickly. And Gunner was wide open. He had no one around him, and Sperry just put that ball on a pillow. The PAT by Ford Stinson is up, and it looks good, and it is. New score at Datku Stadium. Geyer 31, Southlake 49. You're listening to Millennium Sports presentation of Geyer Wildcats quarterfinal championship football powered by TSP at gotsp.live.
When faced with a life cycle event such as getting married, having a baby, buying a home or car, planning for retirement, or planning for college, Fort Worth State Farm agent Earl Wood has products and knowledge to help. Earl's office is at 2900 South Hill in Suite 50 in Fort Worth. Details online at earlwood.biz. That's earlwood.biz. State Farm is for life.
My apologies. That was DJ Reese who was wide open. I apologize to the family of Reese. That was an amazing catch, and Reese was wide open. So our new score 49-31. There's a flag down on the kickoff. Jake, go ahead.
Yeah.
Tell me what you saw.
I saw an onside kick, an attempted onside kick. Not sure if it went 10 yards. Wondering if that's why the flag's out. I believe Geyer did recover, but I'm not sure what's going to end up after the refs sort this out. They're talking at midfield right now. It looks like the defenses are getting ready, so it must have been not gone 10 yards is my assumption.
So Carroll's going to have good field position to start this next drive. They haven't had the football in quite a while. 6:56 on the clock is when they started their last drive.
Illegal block on the kicking team, number 13.
That's going to be an illegal block on the kicking team, which was Geyer. So the Dragons, with 2:02 on the clock, will be in excellent field position after that. So, into Geyer territory, obviously, around the 36-yard line.
If there's one thing you don't want to do, it's give this explosive offense even an easier way to score. And mistake after mistake has just given Southlake pretty good field position almost all game.
They certainly have. So here now is Angelo Renda and company. Christian Glenn, as of the moment, it's a pistol look, but the Riley Dodge wants to talk to the officials on the far side. And, of course, Reed Heim is having a discussion on the near side.
First and 10 for the Dragons. Geyer, 36.
But apparently Heim is okay with whatever he heard, and now we're ready for action. It's a pistol look from Southlake at the Geyer 36-yard line. Renda barks at the offensive line, and now Glenn moves over to the left side of Renda. Glenn will get the carry. No, Renda kept it around the left edge, trying to find the corner. Does for a moment, finally brought down by the linebacker Caleb Fowler, who has had a whale of a game so far today, but he makes the tackle a little bit further past the sticks than he wanted. His 1st and 10 after that run to the 24-yard line, a pickup of 12 yards by Renda on the ground.
Great fake. Just like you were faked out, I was also faked out. Following your commentary, I went this way with him and then came back at the exact same moment that you recognized him. So good fake and good run.
3 receivers right, 2 left. Renda all alone in the backfield. Swings it out to his receiver, Brock Boyd, who makes the catch and goes out of bounds quickly, but a nice quick gain of maybe 4 yards to the 20-yard line.
Just a prototypical screen, exactly what you expect from a team of this caliber. Little pitch and catch, 4-yard run, out of bounds, and they're set with a 2nd and medium.
$1:22 left to go in the third quarter. 49-31. Southlake on top. They've had monstrous help from Geyer's special teams to obtain that advantage. A lot of miscues by Geyer. Again, empty back. Orinda alone back there. He's going to run. Over left tackle, falls down. That's where the water on the turf may have got him a little bit as Orinda, untouched, just fell down at the 20-yard line. It'll be no gain, and we're now nearing the 1 minute mark.
You kind of feel like that if Orinda isn't tackled by the turf monster right there, that he's maybe scoring, maybe getting close to a first and goal type of situation. But
he had a lot of room to run, that's for certain.
Yeah, and
receivers switch sides. The right receivers come left, and the left receivers go right.
Here we go with another huge third down.
Brock Boyd split out wide to the right. Look out here on 3rd and 6. 34 seconds on the clock in the third. Orinda's going to keep it a big lane on the right side to the 5. Squirts free down to the 4-yard line. A big run and a first down. And it's first and goal for Southlake, knocking on the door once again, already with a lead of 49-31.
That's a great play call right there by the offensive coordinator, just deciding that they're going to make everyone think that they're going to pass on a third down, and we have a timeout on the field.
We have a timeout on the field. You're listening to Millennium Sports presentation of Geyer Wildcats quarterfinal championship football, powered by TSP at gotsp.live.
Is your sky-high monthly energy bill causing sleepless nights? Anchor Energy has cost-effective solutions to save you up to 25% with no upfront cost solar solutions. We know what you're facing. Go to anchor.energy for a free consult with either David or Brian. Your solution to a better future is waiting now at anchor.energy. That's anchor.energy.
That was the end of the third quarter. Jake, can you read us some sponsors up there?
Yes. Millennium Sports and the Geyer Wildcats wish to thank today's broadcast sponsors: Build-A-Berry Funeral Directors of Denton, the Scott Brown Group of Denton, Anchor Energy Solar Solutions of DFW, State Farm Agent Earl Wood of Fort Worth, author James C. Bivens' book Walking Through the Valley of Grief, available now on Amazon, Mazzaro Mexican Restaurants of DFW, Harris Ratings Weekly of Corinth, and Van Harris. Wildcats' historic 2024 football continues here, our 12th consecutive season with Millennium Sports. With worldwide audience, you can make it possible for family, former student athletes, players, and fans to follow Denton Geyer worldwide and receive shout-outs or business ads by sponsoring the broadcasts. Call or shoot a text to John Froh, president of Millennium Sports, at 214-642-7003 or email jmfro@att.net.
First and goal for Southlake now in the fourth quarter. 4 yards to go for pay dirt. Orinda in the gun, Glenn to his right. Everybody bunched together, all receivers bunched together. Glenn gets the carry, fights his way to about the 3, maybe a yard on the carry. Second down and goal from the 3 coming up.
Yeah, and Glenn was able to snake past Xavier Akpono, and if he hadn't, if he hadn't been there to stop him, then he probably would have strolled right into the end zone with the amount of speed he had.
We're going to have to start talking about players of the game here momentarily for Geyer. Here's Renda. Hand off to Glenn at the 1 yard line. They'll say his knee hit at the 1. So third and goal from the 1. We now have 11-12 left to go in the game, and Southlake momentarily leads 49-31, but they're a yard away from extending that lead.
Can you imagine this is fourth down territory as well?
Renda will hand off to Glenn, who dives over the top into the end zone. It's a touchdown.
Glenn's in for a Carroll.
And the Dragons do indeed extend their lead 55-31, awaiting this PAT coming up from Gavin Strange to make it 56-31.
And after a quick moment, a brief pause of the offenses that we saw in the first half, it appears that both offenses are back at it.
The kick by Strange is not strange at all. 56-31, Southlake in the lead, 10:56 left to go. You're listening to Millennium Sports presentation of Geyer Wildcats quarterfinal championship football, powered by TSP at gotsp.live.
Timeout. All right. Remember, we're a team that plays together. Listen, the winning will take care of itself. We just have to get everyone involved.
In interscholastic sports, we celebrate what makes every one of us unique. And in the pursuit of a common goal, everyone in the huddle, in the bleachers, and in the community comes together. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
Welcome back to Datku Stadium. Monte Walker along with Jake Roberts and Mahlon Walker. Jake, after that 7-play, 63-yard drive by Southlake ended on a Christian Glenn 1-yard leaping dive over into the end zone. That gives Southlake a 56-31 lead with 10:56 left to go in the game. You and I need to have a discussion about players of the game for Geyer in just a moment. Strange is about to boot this one away, and he does. It's a high kick, going to go to Martins again at the 5-yard line. Just near of the left hash, and he'll flip his way over to the 23-yard line, which is where Geyer will start this next possession with 10:50 on the clock. Jake, let's talk about it. Do you have any suspects you would have defensively possibly for the Geyer Wildcats?
Yeah, Geyer defensively, obviously been a tough game. The opponents put up 56 points. But people that have stood out to me would be number 0, Zane Rowe. He's had a fantastic day. He's been all over the place. And also Caleb Fowler has been all over the place. And
Jonah Shamey had the pick right before the half. Here's Sperry, drops back, flushed out of the pocket, rolling right. Looking down the field, pointing down the field. Can't escape the pressure. Finally run out of bounds right at the line of scrimmage. I think are they going to mark him a yard shy of the line of scrimmage? I think they're going to try to mark him at the 22. That'll be a yard loss. So I can't disagree. I think both of us are thinking Caleb Fowler perhaps. He was in fact all over the place today. So defensively, offensively, I don't know how you can go without Kevin Sperry. I'm sure he's been the player of the game a lot of games. Here he's going to 3-step drop, fire it across the middle. There could be some pushing. There's a flag there, some interference, trying to hit DJ Reese over the middle. And there's a little bit of contact coming from the secondary, which was Brody Knowles. So Geyer will be able to tack on some yardage and get themselves out of trouble, as the ref mic is a little over-modulated again. But they'll spot the ball at the 37-yard line after the 15-yard mark-off.
And maybe you think of someone like Mason White.
Mason White had a big game. You're exactly right. Mason White. Empty back. 3-step drop. Sperry fires it over the middle, and unable to make the one-handed catch is Caden Cobbs.
Pass intended for number 3, Gray.
That was actually intended for Sonoris Gray.
Brings up
it'll be second down and 10 after that. 10:31 on the clock left to go in the game. So did we decide Mason White and Caleb Fowler?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that sounds good. Both played fantastic games.
Fowler is a senior. Here is actually Sperry's going to keep it himself up the middle. Picks up 8 yards up to the 45-yard line.
Tackle made by number 90, Austin Davis.
Mason White, also a senior. So that's good. You're talking to 2 seniors for the player of the game in their final game as a Geyer Wildcat. It appears, unless there's some miraculous Plano West John Tyler situation here with 9:58 left to go in the game. 3rd down and 2 coming up for Geyer as they approach midfield at the 45-yard line. Sperry claps. He's going to take it himself over right tackle. Breaks out of a tackle across midfield to the 49-yard line.
Kevin Sperry on the ground.
Just no quit in Sperry. This whole game, he's been hassled. He's been put in positions where he's had to make a play. And, I mean, he's failed at times as well, but just being able to get up and keep going.
What's so impressive, the fact that, he's 6'1", 205, and he runs really well, but the dart of missile that he threw early in the second quarter, first play of the second quarter, I believe. Here's a pass deep down the field, intended for Moore, who makes it great. It's going to be ruled incomplete. Moore says he had it. The official says it hit the ball, hit the ground rather. And DJ Reese still pleading his case there.
Man, I thought he had that. I mean, it's impossible to tell.
It looked like a tremendous catch by Reese.
From up here, and he seemed to think he caught it as well, but the ref said no. And so,
nonetheless, it's 2nd down and 10 now with 9:15 left to go for Geyer. Sperry's going to keep it. Hit at the line of scrimmage and falls forward. A great defensive play made by the linebacker Marcus Browse as he stepped up and really stuck Sperry, scraping right as Sperry was running left, and stuck his shoulder pads right into the knees of Sperry. And it'll be 3rd down and 9 as we hit the 8:45 mark. If Geyer's going to hang around, they need to pick this one up here. Martin's in the backfield. Sperry drops back, 3 steps up in the pocket, fires across the middle. That's going to be caught. Down to the 20-yard line, picking up the first down is Sonoris Gray.
Sperry to Gray, that's good.
We've seen that slant all day for both teams, predominantly for Geyer, and they've been able to get into that zone. And obviously Sperry's going to make a fantastic throw every time, as we've seen today.
29 yards on the pass and catch there from Sperry. A little quick pass out to Martins out of the backfield. That one does nothing. Again, Browse right there to make the stop at the linebacker position.
That's a big hit right there from
12,
Browse. And
brings up 2nd and 12.
It's hard to get up from that one.
Yeah. We're talking about the toughness of Kevin Sperry as well. And Aiden Martins as well, as who got popped right there. 2nd down and 12. Sperry sends a man in motion. Looking to the right side to throw. Dancing a little bit. Had happy feet. Finally caught and brought down at the 26-yard line. A loss.
12.
As in the second half,
Number 88, Jack Von Dorfler.
there's just been nowhere to go for Sperry. The line is collapsing as that front four for Southlake is really putting the heat on that front 5 of Geyer. And again, Jack Van Dorseyler makes a huge play. It's 3rd down and 16. Sperry wants to throw. Looking in the end zone. That one's going to be caught. Sonoris Gray in the back of the end zone, and that is a touchdown for Geyer to narrow the gap just a little bit. It's still a 19-point lead. 56-37 as we speak, but Stinson coming on for the PAT.
It's a heck of a pass right there. And I know we've been harping on Sperry this entire drive, but great pass.
The PAT by Stinson is up and good. Our new score, 56-38. 6:48 left to go in the game. You're listening to Millennium Sports presentation of Geyer Wildcats quarterfinal championship football, powered by TSP at gotsp.live.
Fort Worth State Farm agent Earl Wood offers the State Farm Steer Clear Young Drivers Program. The Steer Clear Awareness Program is for drivers under the age of 25 and is designed to reinforce the fundamentals of driving. You can contact Earl Woods in Fort Worth at 817-922-9300. Details available online at earlwood.biz. That's earlwood.biz. State Farm is for life.
6:48 remaining in this football game. It's 56-38. Southlake in the lead over Geyer. Geyer just finished a 7-play, 77-yard drive that was capped off by a 26-yard touchdown from Sperry to Gray, which narrowed our score. And again, there's 6:48 left to go in the game. We're about to have, here's a little pooch kick right in the middle of the returners, but it's finally brought down and recovered by Southlake. And that one is Gunner who recovers it.
First and 10 for the Dragons.
And they'll have it at their own 25-yard line on this next possession.
And a bit of a misdirection right there from the kickers on the onside kick. I don't know if you caught that, but they had a kicker line up acting like he was going to kick it, and then it looked like one of the people that was going to run out to defend it, and he ended up kicking it instead. And
hey, we did that in youth football, Mahlon. We had 2 kickers like that.
Interesting
was a long
design.
time ago.
And it was almost executed very well, just kicked a little too far.
So Southlake will hand off here. First man through, which is Glenn. He's had a pretty good day today. He gains 8 right there up to the 33-yard line.
Yeah, and Southlake obviously has had to have the next man up mentality with Glenn, and he sure has stepped up today. He's had a great game.
10 carries for 22 yards, according to the Dallas Morning News. It's not a lot of yards, but he's got several touchdowns. I think Glenn has 3 touchdowns on the day.
He's been there when they needed him.
Second down and 2, 6:05 left to go in the game. Renda's going to keep it, bounces it out right side, falls down again at the 35. He had quite a bit of room to run still.
Angelo Renda on the carry. That's good for a Southlake. First down.
Yeah, and that's the 3rd or 4th time he's kind of slipped down. You wonder if maybe he needs a new pair of cleats out there on that wet
probably needs
turf.
it to stop raining.
I'm sure everyone down there does. As you can hear the water on our crowd mic.
Again, we'll have an interview after the game with Reed Heim. We'll also have an interview with the players of the game. Handoff to Glenn again. This time he gains enough to the 39-yard line. And now it's the clock's still rolling. 5-11, 5-10. As the seniors of Geyer have got to be, facing this rejection. And it's not an easy thing to do when you're in the final moments of your high school football career. And a lot of these guys aren't named Kevin Sperry who are going on to play on Saturdays.
It's getting a little chippy down there, too. I saw Zane Rowe and Luke Wilson going at it.
Second down and 7. Renda handoff to Glenn, makes his way to the 40. Well, he keeps pushing the pile up to the 43-yard line. Not enough for a first down, setting up a 3rd and probably 4 or thereabouts.
You'd have to imagine that as a timeout's called by Geyer. But
we're going to take one, too. Let's take a quick timeout. You're listening to Millennium Sports presentation of Geyer Wildcats quarterfinal championship football powered by TSP at gotsp.live.
This commercial isn't about us. It's about you. It's about you and your first sip of your jalapeno margarita. It's about you and the fresh avocado and your shrimp ceviche. You and your family enjoying a good meal and good company. Celebrating with your closest friends, making a toast to a good year. Dessert, your favorite, Cinco Leches. When it's about you, you know you're at the right place. Make your reservation. Make it about you. Make it Macero.
Welcome back to Datku Stadium. Monte Walker along with Jake Roberts and Mahlon Walker. Again, I want to thank you all for listening to this great quarterfinal championship, and what a game it has been, Jake Roberts. I mean, the first half was absolutely, we didn't know what we would see next.
The first half, it had me on the edge of my seat, and it's just been an incredible game. 2 great teams that should be proud of their performances today.
Absolutely. And you hate to think that this game for Geyer came down to special teams, but that's absolutely what happened. A handoff once again to Glenn, but this time he's hammered.
Glenn on the carry.
Hammered in the backfield.
By number 41, Matt DeSantis.
And this time the defensive end, Matt DeSantis, is the one who picked him up. Well, the ref, Mike, needs some attention.
My goodness.
Yeah, that's about to give me a headache. Another timeout's been called. 4:25 left to go in the game. Southlake leads 56-38. And three touchdowns. Is it three? It's three touchdowns have been off of the punt team of Geyer.
3 touchdowns.
And not returns.
2 have been returned.
Well, not in the sense that you would normally think a punt return.
Yes. Blocked punts or muffed punts.
A punt that sailed over the punter's head. It was recovered, that set up a touchdown from the 6-yard line. Another punt snap that sailed over the punter's head, which was picked up and ran in for a touchdown. And it seems like there was another one, Jake.
Blocked.
Oh, yeah,
blocked.
The punt was blocked.
In the second half.
And returned for a touchdown.
Third quarter, right.
My goodness. This time, Southlake wants to punt it away, and they do, and this one goes into the stands. Almost. Watch out, our crowd mic might have been hit.
I'm not sure. I think they were trying to burn more time on that by having the punter roll out before the pooch kick. But I'm not entirely sure what the purpose of that was.
Well, I think if there's a lane, you take it, and if there's not, punt it away.
Okay.
And it takes a special skill from the punter to be able to do that sort of thing.
Right.
But apparently he's been coached up.
All kinds of athletes on the field tonight for both of these teams.
1st and 10 for the Wildcats at the 50.
So Geyer will take over at the midfield stripe with 4:18 on the clock remaining in their 2024 season. Sperry wanting to go deep ball. Actually throws the intermediate route, which is incomplete. It was in the hands of the intended receiver, but it fell incomplete right at the 40-yard line. It was intended for Mason White.
It sure felt like cornerback Luke Langford kind of hit him as he caught that. Maybe a little bit before, and you could hear some of the fans.
You could hear the fans weren't happy with that situation.
They're still not happy with it down there, and a lot of them thought that was probably a pass interference.
4:13 on the clock, 2nd down and 10. Whistles before this one can get underway, and timeout's been called by Southlake. Is that their final? No, that's their first timeout that they've called, so they have 2 left. Geyer is out of timeouts, and they trail 56-38 in this quarterfinal contest, and this one's just about over. Geyer's going to go down fighting for sure. Again, we'll talk to head coach Reed Heim after the game. We'll talk to our players of the game, which we determined to be Mason White and the linebacker Caleb Fowler. Those players of the game are brought to you by Bill DeBerry Funeral Directors and Scott Brown Group of Denton. When we talk to Reed Heim, that'll be brought to you by Bill DeBerry Funeral Directors.
So a bit of an interesting note here. Current Texas quarterback Quinn Ewers actually went to Southlake.
And current quarterback of the Sooners went to Geyer.
Right.
It may be
right. So
I don't even know if he's current at this point.
A bit of a Texas OU matchup out there.
2nd down and 10. They come back on the field. Sperry drops back 3 steps, looks deep down the field, right side, going to be caught. A great catch at the 15-yard line. That one's hauled in by Shockley, the tight end.
First down.
And that's D1 athlete to D1 athlete right there.
6'3", 215, senior Shockley got down the right seam, down to the 15. 1st and 10. Sperry's going to try to keep it himself. Bowls over a defender, still fighting, chewing. 4-yard line, 3-yard line. Somehow he's in. It's touchdown time in Texas.
He's in for a Denton Touchdown.
Kevin Sperry never quit on that play, and he fought his way into the end zone. You were not going to turn him away.
No, and I thought he was going to go down a couple of times. At least 2 or 3 times I thought he was going to go down. But this Geyer team not wanting to go away. They keep fighting, and good on them for that. And, hey, you never know. Crazier things have happened in sports before.
They certainly have. There's whistles on the extra point. We'll have to see what this is. For the moment, it's 56-44. Southlake in the lead.
We'll start off this number 75.
There's a penalty on Geyer on the extra point. So now they'll move it back, and Stinson will have to kick from the 15.
There's another special teams mishap. Definitely a lesser so than what we've been accustomed to this game, but
and now we're trying again. And this time it is true and no flags. 56-45. Southlake in the lead with 3:53 remaining in the game. You're listening to Millennium Sports presentation of Geyer Wildcats quarterfinal championship football powered by TSP at gotsp.live.
Founded in 1990, the DeBerry Funeral Directors, located at 2025 West University Drive in Denton, offer traditional services to cremations or anything in between. The Bill DeBerry family provide ongoing pre-planning and pre-need services, making the life transition smoother. Details are available online at DeBerryFuneralDirectors.com.
Welcome back to Datku Stadium. Monte Walker along with Jake Roberts and Mahlon Walker. Don't forget, after the game, we'll have the players of the game, an interview with each of them, which is Mason White and Caleb Fowler of Geyer. And it's an 11-point game, and here's the onside kick. Geyer, a scramble for it. Geyer says they have it at the 45-yard line. This game ain't over. Geyer has recovered an onside kick at the Southlake 46-yard line.
A flag has been dropped.
There is a flag right at
the Denton Geyer Wildcats.
And they are signaling Geyer football, but let's check the flag.
Marker on the field.
All I'll say about this football game is I'm glad I used a pencil and not a pen.
Geyer recovered the kick. Unsportsmanlike, number 30 on Geyer.
Oh, unsportsmanlike against Geyer.
So Geyer does retain possession, but not in the field position they want. But
Zach DeAnda is the young man that is guilty of the infraction, which will take the ball back to the 39-yard line.
Boy, as soon as you thought this game was over, it's not.
It's not. You just never know. And you've got a young man named Kevin Sperry. Hey, you can do lots of magic. We'll see what kind of magic they have in their black jerseys. Black pants, black shirts, gray helmet. Sperry drops back, fires a bullet across the middle. It's incomplete. It goes in and out of the arms of Gray. That could have easily been completed. Gray will tell you that ball should have been caught.
Yeah, you sense that maybe he felt a little bit of the pressure behind his back and kind of tensing, got ready for it, and then just wasn't able to complete the catch. But it stops the clock. There's still 3:49 left in this game. Plenty of time to make that 11-point deficit that they're down by right now.
2nd down and 10. Sperry looks left, fires left. This time it's caught. DJ Reese makes the catch at the 49-yard line. They're going to give him forward progress to the 50. 11 yards on the pass and catch. And Geyer's moving the football. 3:34 on the clock, which continues to run. Sperry wants to throw again. Fakes left, steps up in the pocket. He's got to run. Escapes a defender. Look out, 40. Down the sideline, 30. To the 25 and steps out of bounds at the 23-yard line. They'll say the 24. 3:21 on the clock.
Man, if you're Southlake, 3 minutes ago, you thought you had this game in the bag, and now here comes Geyer knocking on the door inside the 25 with 3 minutes and 20 seconds left to go.
Unbelievable. Sperry, 1st and 10, drops back, steps up in the pocket. He's going to run again. And this time he's forced out of bounds at the 23-yard line, maybe a gain of 1. But that stops the clock at 3:14.
Good awareness to be able to get out of bounds, to stop the clock after a gain of looks like about 2.
A moment ago, I might have said the 31-yard line. He actually made it to the 24. And now you say the 22. Is that right?
Yes.
Second down and 8 coming up.
Like
the
that.
chains, there must be a chain issue.
Yeah, they only have.
The orange part of the chain has been taken off and removed somehow. But
yeah, it looks invisible.
It does look invisible.
The top part is floating.
The delay of game's been called on Geyer here. 3:14 remains in this football game. Right now, it's an 11-point game, but if Geyer scores here, things get interesting, especially if you're able to recover another onside or something like that.
So if they score here, you go for 2, if I'm not mistaken.
3 receivers to the right side. Sperry fires down the middle towards the end zone, just over the head of the intended receiver, which was Gray. And it falls incomplete, and it's 3rd down and 13.
And Gray had separation there. If that was thrown a little bit less, if you put a little bit less on air on that ball, that's a touchdown.
Brings up 3rd and 13.
3rd and 13. Here's what could be the first of 2 plays of the game. It could come down to this. Of course, I think you're in 4-down territory at this point, but it's 3rd and 13. This is a big one. 3:09 on the clock. Sperry drops back, fires, left side, incomplete. And DJ Reese was not ready for that pass. He ran a good route, but the ball, he and Sperry are having a conversation right now. Reese has both palms pointed towards the sky.
I wouldn't call that a conversation. That's closer to frustration from both parties, not knowing what was happening. Some timely miscommunication.
That's certainly not the time in the football game to have some miscommunication on routes. 4th down and 13. 3:05 left to go in the game. 1 man in the backfield to the left side of Sperry. And a timeout has been called. It was Reese and that was in the backfield, and now they're still having a conversation, but now they walk to the bench. Let's keep it here, Jake. 3:05 left to go in this game. 56-45. Southlake in the lead. Geyer at the Southlake 27-yard line. But a big 4th and 13 are in the way of a monumental comeback.
And this is as close to a game-deciding play as we've seen so far here tonight. Geyer's got to do this. They've got to dig deep. This is, in order for their season to have a chance at continuing, it comes down to this play right here. And I'm sure they're talking about that in the huddle right now.
You know, they did, after talking to Reed Heim and the offensive coordinator Blake Joseph coming out of that timeout early in the football game. The first play right after that was the strike to Mason White for a touchdown on a little quick in. Let's see if they have something here after this timeout.
And you know that Sperry's always capable of making a big play at any moment.
4th and 13, it pretty much comes down to this with 3:05 left to go in the game, trailing 56-45. Geyer, Sperry drops back, under pressure, steps up in the pocket, flag down, fires in the end zone, it's intercepted. A yard deep in the end zone. Coming out of Southlake up to the 20, up to the 35-40, finally brought down
Parker Harris.
It was
Southlake Carroll.
picked off by Parker Harris, the outside backer, who was a yard deep in the end zone. The flag was down, but apparently that's going to go against Geyer, and that pretty much seals the quarterfinal victory for Southlake.
And there is one of the keys to the game coming up this late in the game, and that is turning the ball over. And that's what's ultimately...
We've seen some of that.
We've seen a lot of that, but that's ultimately going to be the deciding factor in a crazy game.
Yeah, it's certainly been a crazy game. So Renda will go back in shotgun with Glenn to his right on 1st and 10. Renda's going to keep it around the right side. He got a little bit of room. We'll have enough for 4 or 5 yards. They're starting this possession from their own 43-yard line.
Renda on the keeper. Tackle made by number 10, Ryder Garcia.
No timeouts for Geyer, so a complete inability to stop the clock leaves Geyer with needing a stop and no first down for Southlake. A first down all but seals the deal for the Dragons here.
Ball at the 47, 2:15 to go. And as you said, Jake, no way to stop it. Only Southlake can get in the way of Southlake at this point. Snap back, hand off to Glenn, who's met in the backfield immediately. And that's going to be a loss back to the 45-yard line. Could have been more than that, but the officials were very gracious on that spot. Loss of 2.
And if you're somehow able to stop them here, help me do the math here, you could end up with the ball back with about 45 seconds left.
Hopefully Mahlon has notified the players that he wants to get in touch with down there. If not, hey, Jake, do you mind sending him a message just to remind him?
I'll text him right now.
You might want to go ahead and tap him on the shoulder and let him know to meet him. That way he's not. There's a timeout by Southlake. We'll keep it here. That way he's not scrambling to try to find him after the handshake and things like that. I don't think he can hear us at this point in the game. Yeah, the rain probably shorted out his headset, I'm guessing. Maybe, hopefully it didn't his mic.
Yeah, we haven't heard much from him in a while. Hopefully he's still alive down there.
He may be swimming. Those shoes may take until July to dry out. It's been a pretty good game, Jake. It's been actually a wild game. The first half was insane.
This is one of the craziest football games.
The first 4 minutes of this football game was insane. And at one point we thought there's no possible way that Southlake has a chance in this football game, and that was about 3 minutes in.
If someone had told you with 10 minutes left in the first quarter, when it was 14-0 Geyer, that Southlake was going to put up 56 points, I mean, I would have called you crazy.
Yeah, the way the game was going and the way it started, everything was rolling for Geyer. Absolutely everything. And then it turned. And it turned with
special teams.
The snaps going over the punter's head. That was critically crucial in this game. Here's Renda rolling around the left edge. Picks up the first down, and I think that's going to do it. No way to stop it. Southlake fans come to their feet. And they rise up there on the far side here at Datku Stadium as the Dragons will secure a 56-45 win here at the University of North Texas. And that essentially ends the career of so many seniors for Geyer.
And a great win for Southlake. They came in here, and like we were just talking about before, they were down. I mean, it almost seemed like there was no way for them to win, but they found a way. And disappointing for Geyer. They had a great season, though.
And there's the first knee by Renda, who then he takes the knee and then points into the sky with his index finger, and he is swarmed by the entire football team as now they make their way to shake hands across the field. there's a sea of white helmets and white jerseys, as that it appears that they've brought 300 kids over here.
There's so many more.
It looks like a university. But they will travel on and play what appears to be next Saturday afternoon at SMU against the team to be determined at a time to be determined. And that game will be brought to you by Millennium Sports. So you can tune in to GoTSP.live and catch that game. I believe that's going to be.
Carroll ISD and Denton ISD would like to thank you.
I may have to check that, since it's not a Geyer broadcast, it may not be. But
remember, sportsmanship is always important.
What a game we've had today. What an incredible game. So now we're officially in the Bill DeBerry Funeral Directors of Denton postgame show. We'll go over our sponsors, Jake, if you will.
Carroll, 56. Thank you.
Millennium Sports and the Geyer Wildcats wish to thank today's broadcast sponsors: Bill DeBerry Funeral Directors of Denton, the Scott Brown Group of Denton, Anchor Energy Solar Solutions of DFW, State Farm Agent Earl Wood of Fort Worth, author James C. Bivens' book Walking Through the Valley of Grief, available now on Amazon, Mazzaro Mexican Restaurants of DFW, and Harris Ratings Weekly of Corinth and Van Harris. Geyer Wildcats football, Wildcats Historic 2024 football comes to an end, but you can still make it possible for family, former student athletes, players, and fans to follow Denton Geyer worldwide and receive shout-outs or business ads by sponsoring the broadcasts. Call or shoot a text to John Froh, president of Millennium Sports, at 214-642-7003, or email jmfroh@att.net.
Let's go over the scoring for this afternoon's game. We'll recap this for you. It's brought to you by Bill DeBerry Funeral Directors of Denton. This may take a little bit, as I've got a stat sheet or a recap sheet that has 25 possessions, which is somewhat normal for a football game, but there's a lot of activity in this stat sheet. There's not a lot of three and punt for possessions. Each possession is filled with some kind of drama and dynamics. Starting the football game, Southlake Carroll was due to start on offense at the beginning of the game. However, they fumbled the opening kickoff, which was recovered by Geyer. Geyer then went 3 plays and 30 yards and punched it in on a Kevin Sperry 20-yard touchdown run up the middle. That gave Geyer the initial lead, 7-0, with 10:30 on the first quarter clock. Southlake Carroll started out slow, as you mentioned earlier. They punted on their first possession after just 3 plays. Geyer got it back at their own 49-yard line, and 2 plays later, Sperry hit Mason White for 43 yards on a quick strike bullet. And White did most of the work as it was a slant, but that capped off the 2-play 51-yard drive and gave Geyer a 14-0 lead with 8:25 left to go in the first quarter. Southlake Carroll then kind of got rolling a little bit offensively. They took the ball at their own 32-yard line, went 7 plays and 68 yards. And it was Christian Glenn who scored the first of his 3 touchdowns of the afternoon. That was on a 2-yarder, which cut the Geyer lead in half, 14-7, with 6:34 remaining in the first quarter. And then everything kind of went crazy. At their own 25-yard line, Geyer drove to the 43, but had to punt, and the punt was sailed over the head of the Geyer punter, Peyton Jund. And that gave Southlake the ball at the 6-yard line. An easy punch in for Christian Glenn's second touchdown of the game on the very first play that ended the 1-play 6-yard drive and tied the game at 3:39 in the first quarter. Geyer then took it at their own 20 and were forced to punt again. And again, the ball sailed over Jund's head. And this time it wasn't just recovered by Southlake, it was picked up by Ethan Fisher and ran into the end zone. And Southlake took their first lead of the game, 21-14, with 48 seconds remaining in the first quarter. So the first quarter was all drama. It was all Geyer at the first half, and it was all Southlake in the second half. Moving on into the second quarter, Geyer took the ball at their own 27-yard line, drove 4 plays and 73 yards, and the final play was a 44-yard touchdown from Sperry to Mason White. And that tied the game at 21 with 11:26 left to go in the second quarter. Southlake Carroll took it at their own 16. They drove an incredible 10 plays, 84 yards, and it was finished by a 17-yard touchdown. That was Brady Knowles on a slant in the end zone, defended by Jonah Shamey, and Knowles won that one. And that gave Southlake their second lead of the game, 28-21 with 3:32 left to go in the second quarter. Geyer came back at their own 25, but were forced to punt. This time the snap was good, and they got off a normal punt. Southlake took it at their own 29-yard line, and it ended on a 42-yard touchdown by quarterback Angelo Renda, ending a 4-play, 71-yard drive and extending Southlake's lead 35-21 with 3:58 left to go in the second quarter. Southlake, let's see, that gave Geyer the ball at their own 25-yard line, drove 9 plays, 63-yard drive, and it was Ford Stinson who ended the drive on a 26-yard field goal. That narrowed the gap just a bit, 35-24, left a $1:01 on the clock before the half. Southlake Carroll had one possession left in them, but a pass by Renda was intercepted by Jonah Shamey, who nearly took it to the house, but unfortunately left only 6 seconds remaining on the clock before the half, and that virtually was the final play of the first half. So Geyer went into the dressing room down 11 points, 35-24. Geyer got the ball to start the second half, started at their own 25-yard line, and drove up to the 29-yard line, were unable to punch it in. Carroll's first possession of the second half also ended in a punt. Geyer started at their own 27-yard line, drove 5 plays, but had a punt blocked for a touchdown by Ethan Fisher. A second special teams touchdown of the afternoon on a punt miscue by Geyer. And that extended Carroll's lead 42-24 with 3:05 left to go in the third quarter. Geyer then started at their own 25-yard line, and this was an interesting situation where Sperry tried to pitch the ball in the backfield, but right there before he was able to do so, Zach Hayes, the defensive end for Southlake, actually picked the ball out of the air. He dropped it and picked it up off the turf and returned it for a touchdown. And that extended the Dragons' lead 49-24 with 2:48 as the wheels completely fell off at that point of the Wildcats. But they tried to put them back on, and after starting at their own 15-yard line, it was an 80-yard touchdown strike from Sperry to DJ Reese to narrow the gap once again, 49-31, and left 2:02 left to go in the third quarter. But again, it was Southlake Carroll who started at the 36-yard line of Geyer, drove 7 plays, 63 yards, and Christian Glenn dove over the top for his third touchdown of the afternoon. That made it 56-31 with 10:56 left to go in the game. Geyer once again kept fighting. They started at their own 23. They drove 7 plays, 77 yards, and Sperry hit Gray for a touchdown of 26 yards to make it 56-38. Left 6:48 on the clock. Carroll was forced to punt, which Geyer took it back and drove down, and Kevin Sperry punched it into the end zone in one of the most dramatic, never quit type of runs I've ever seen. And that brought the score 56-45, which eventually became our final score. That was made at the 3:53 mark. But Geyer, after recovering an onside kick, Sperry was intercepted, and that was it. That was virtually your ball game in that little recap. So that little recap was sponsored by Bilderberry Funeral Directors of Denton. We're going to take a quick time out. You're listening to Millennium Sports presentation of Geyer Wildcats quarterfinal championship football, powered by TSP at gotsp.live.
Founded in 1990, the DeBerry Funeral Directors, located at 2025 West University Drive in Denton, offer traditional services to cremations or anything in between. The Bill DeBerry family provide ongoing pre-planning and pre-need services, making the life transition smoother. Details are available online at DeBerryFuneralDirectors.com.
Founded in 2002, Scott Brown Commercial is the trusted name in Denton County when buying, selling, leasing, or investing in commercial real estate. Scott Brown Commercial offers integrity and professionalism, providing innovative solutions. Details available online at sbpcommercial.com.
You're in the Bilderberry Funeral Directors of Denton postgame show. Monte Walker along with Jake Roberts and Mahlon Walker, who we'll hear from in just a little bit with the interviews from the Coach Reed Heim, and as well as our players of the game. Right now we'll go over the Scott Brown Group stat board. You're not going to believe the stats that come out of this game. And if I were to tell you that Geyer had 533 total yards of offense compared to Southlake's 298, and that they had 230 yards rushing compared to 193, and they had 27 first downs compared to Southlake's 14, who would you say won the football game, Jake?
Absolutely Geyer.
Absolutely, 100%. Everybody would say, Geyer's the better football team. They just dominated Southlake. But that's not the case, and that's because special teams are a big factor in football, and a lot of times the special teams is the reason that teams start their basketball season a little bit early.
Certainly, it definitely is, and Geyer, they had a great year. They had a good run, and they're going to be in a position to succeed for years to come with the coaching they have and the talent that is in this area. But yeah, it's basketball season for them, and that's a reality that, unfortunately, they face.
So let's go over Southlake's individual stats. Angelo Renda was 9 out of 15 passing today for 105 yards. He had 1 touchdown and 1 interception. He was also the leading rusher for the Dragons, 15 carries for 161 yards, and had 1 touchdown on the ground. Christian Glenn also had 15 carries, but he had 32 yards, but 3 touchdowns, and they were all of the short yardage variety. But Glenn had a fantastic day, especially being the third option in the backfield, as Southlake's first 2 running backs are down with injury. On the receiving side, Brock Boyd for Southlake had 5 catches, 45 yards. Blake Gunner had 2 catches for 38 yards. Brody Knowles, 1 catch for 18, but it was a big one. It was a touchdown. And Luke Jacquemard had 1 catch for 4 yards. For Geyer, Kevin Sperry was 11 out of 25 for 303 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception.
That's a good stat line.
That's a good stat line. Rushing, Sperry had 34 carries for 157 yards. That's a 4.62 yards per carry average. Also had 2 touchdowns on the ground. Aiden Martins, 5 carries for 45 yards. Sterling Schneider, 6 carries for 32 yards. Caden Cobbs had 6 carries for 24 yards, and Danny Jenkins had 1 carry for negative 28. On the receiving end, DJ Reese was the leading receiver for Geyer, who had 5 catches for 143 yards. That's a 28.6 yards per catch average. He also had 2 touchdowns on the afternoon. Mason White, who had 2 catches for 87 yards and 2 touchdowns. Both receptions from Mason White found the end zone.
Wow.
Matt Smedgecall had 2 catches for 39 yards. Jalen Black had 1 catch for 35 yards, and Aiden Martins had 1 catch for negative 1 yards. I think that may be a typo in the Dallas Morning News, because I know that I believe the Jaden Black reception may have actually been Jackson Shockley, who hauled that one in. Nonetheless, that's the stat board and the box score from this football game, the quarterfinal football game. The stat board is brought to you by Scott Brown Group. So in a moment, again, we will have an interview with head coach Reed Heim and also our players of the game. You're listening to the Millennium Sports. First of all, you're in the Build-A-Berry Funeral Directors of Denton postgame show. But you're listening to Millennium Sports presentation of Geyer Wildcats quarterfinal championship football, powered by TSP at gotsp.live.
If you're insured with Allstate, Progressive, or Geico, or if you've had car insurance for 1 year, well, buckle up, Texas. Because Fred Loya has new rates, and we'll give you up to a 45% discount right now. Don't let your insurance company drain your wallet. Call, compare, and start saving money today. Call Fred Loya at 1-800-444-4040, and you can save up to 45% on your car insurance. 1-800-444-4040. If you don't call, you don't save.
When you're in an auto accident, you shouldn't be concerned with legal runarounds, just real advice. You deserve an attorney ready to work for you, an attorney that won't back down.
I've lost loved ones due to the negligence of others. If you or a loved one has been injured in an auto accident, I want to be there for you.
Raul B. Rodriguez and his team care about ensuring you and your family are represented, whether on the road or in the workplace. Raul is real, and Raul won't back down. Call 210-899-0300 to schedule a free consultation.
Anchor Energy is DFW's leading provider of residential and commercial solar solutions. Did you notice your monthly bill skyrocketing 100% over the last 3 years? Anchor Energy has solar options to lower your bill up to 25% with no risk or upfront cost. Go to Anchor Energy for a free consult with David or Brian to develop your custom Anchor Energy plan. Act now. Go to anchor.energy.
Welcome back to Datku Stadium. Monte Walker along with Jake Roberts and Mahlon Walker. Let's go over some scores, which is brought to you by Scott Brown Group of Denton. My gosh, this will not update. How do I get this to update? Let's see. Followed games. I'm still showing a halftime score. Come on. We'll start with the ones that we know about, and hopefully this thing will populate. Let me see. Let me just refresh that. Let's do this. We know that the Gunner Tigers won. It was last night or the night before, 33-7 over Holiday. Honey Grove lost to Joaquin Rams, 46-22. Collinsville lost to Munster, 54-14. Highland Park beat Frisco Lone Star, 41-28. Argyle defeated Lovejoy, 42-17. Kilgore beat Tyler Chapel Hill, 30-6. Salina beat Alvarado, 55-21. and North Crowley ended up beating Allen today, 35-7. You had a final. Denton Ryan Raiders knocked off the Aledo Bearcats 31-21, and of course here Southlake wins 56-45. And momentarily we'll have interviews from both. So that is your scores from around the area brought to you by the Scott Brown Group of Denton. We're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, we're going to have the interviews from the players of the game and also Coach Reed Heim. You're listening to Millennium Sports presentation of Geyer Wildcats quarterfinal championship football, powered by TSP at gotsp.live.
Founded in 2002, Scott Brown Commercial is the trusted name in Denton County when buying, selling, leasing, or investing in commercial real estate. Scott Brown Commercial offers integrity and professionalism, providing innovative solutions. Details available online at sbpcommercial.com.
Founded in 1990, the DeBerry Funeral Directors, located at 2025 West University Drive in Denton, offer traditional services to cremations or anything in between. The Bill DeBerry family provide ongoing pre-planning and pre-need services, making the life transition smoother. Details are available online at DeBerryFuneralDirectors.com.
Anchor Energy is DFW's leading provider of residential and commercial solar solutions. Did you notice your monthly bill skyrocketing 100% over the last 3 years? Okay. Anchor Energy has solar options to lower your bill up to 25% with no risk or upfront cost. Go to Anchor Energy for a free consult with David or Brian to develop your custom Anchor Energy plan. Act now. Go to anchor.energy.
Welcome back to Datku Stadium. Monte Walker along with Jake Roberts and Mahlon Walker. You're in the Bill DeBerry Funeral Directors of Denton post-game show. We have interviews from our players of the game. Mahlon Walker was able to go down on the field and capture the two players, which the first one I believe is going to be Caleb Fowler. He also had a chance to talk to Mason White, and of course finished it up with head coach Reed Heim. So first, let's start off with a Bill DeBerry Funeral Directors player of the game, which was Caleb Fowler.
All right, I'm here with Caleb Fowler. What does this team mean to you?
This team means everything to me. Lots of seniors are going to be missed. It's just a great team overall. Sucks we lost.
You didn't get the win you wanted. What's next for you?
Going into my senior year, gonna ball with the people we got left. We got some upcoming sophomores and freshmen who are gonna ball out next year.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm here with Mason White. It's a disappointing loss, but what's next for you?
Should hope to play college football. That's my biggest dream right now.
And what does this team mean to you?
Shoot, this is my brother, this is my family. I love them all, each and every one of them, from the bench to the starters.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, that's.
I'm here with Coach Heim right now.
Okay, go ahead.
Obviously,
hang on for a minute. That's your Scott Brown Group of Denton Directors. Now let's. Our sponsor for head coach Reed Heim is Bill DeBerry Funeral Directors. Mahlon had a chance to talk with him. Let's hear that.
Wanted to talk about that.
Well, I first of all just want to give a lot of credit to our kids. I told them when we got together right there at the end that we were about a year ago. We were in a lot different place. We were, lost a first-round playoff game and things didn't go well. And we challenged our kids to, we got to get this program back to where it is accustomed to be in, and that's playing football in December. And we ran up against a really good football team in Southlake, and they were prepared. And we had some special teams things that we had to work through. And it's really difficult to beat a team like that. You got to be clicking on all cylinders, and credit to them, they're a good football team, and credit to our guys for not being down 25 points and battling like crazy, getting an onside kick. You know, the fight and our kids never dies, and really proud of who they are, especially the senior class. They've gone through it all. You know, they've been the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows, and it's good for them to go out on a good note playing in December.
What role did weather have on this particular game?
Well, I think you saw it in the snaps. I mean, but it goes both ways. You know, they weren't able to throw the balls effectively, you know, and we had, you know, a couple drop balls and weather-wise. But, you know, that's what you're going to get playing outside in December in Texas. You know, it's either going to be rainy, cold, windy, and you just fight through that adversity, and you got to make sure that doesn't become the deciding factor in the game. And at times, you know, we made it hard on ourselves in that department.
All right, thank you.
Jake,
All right, I'm here with Caleb.
Do you want to give us some sponsors there, Jake, would you please?
Yes. Geyer Wildcats football is sponsored by Millennium Sports, and the Geyer Wildcats wish to thank today's broadcast sponsors: Build-A-Berry Funeral Directors of Denton, the Scott Brown Group of Denton, Anchor Energy Solar Solutions of DFW, State Farm H&N Earlwood of Fort Worth, author James C. Bivens' book, Walking Through the Valley of Grief, available now on Amazon. Mazzaro Family Restaurants of DFW, Harris Ratings Weekly of Corinth, and Van Harris. Geyer Wildcats football, historic 2024 football season came to an end. It's our 12th consecutive season with Millennium Sports. With worldwide audience, you can make it possible for family, former student athletes, players, and fans to follow Denton Geyer worldwide and receive shout-outs or business ads by sponsoring the broadcasts. Call or shoot a text to John Fro, president of Millennium Sports, at 214-642-7003, or email jmfro@att.net.
So, you know, it's been a very fun afternoon for all of us. I know Millennium Sports wants to thank Denton ISD AD Joey Florence, assistant AD John Hines, Coach Reed Heim, Coach Stats Willie Williams, Southlake Carroll Coach Riley Dodge, Texas Sports Productions Bobby Stotzenberger and Jay Riley, IT support Dylan Corso, DFW Media, Dallas Morning News, HS Game Day, Fort Worth Star, Telegram, Denton Record Chronicle. President of Millennium Sports is John Fro. Monte Walker, myself, did play-by-play. Our color analyst was Jake Roberts. Sidelines, Mahlon Walker. And sound coordinator, Antonia Juarez. Geyer Wildcats Region Championship Football is directed and written, produced by John Fro and the Millennium Sports Network. Copyright 2024. Don't forget, Millennium Sports will broadcast the UIL 6A Division II state semifinal round next Saturday to be determined versus either DeSoto or Longview, starting 30 minutes before kickoff with the Build-A-Berry Funeral Directors pregame show here at GoTSP.live. Millennium Sports will broadcast Geyer Wildcats regular season and playoff basketball 2025, starting very soon, it appears. So I want to thank all of those, and also the holidays are upon us. Want to earn some extra money, get paid to work out, go to careers.valley. Go to careers.valleyliving.com and check out the many part-time opportunities in your local area. Valley Living, setting the standards. Valley Living is proud sponsor of the Texas Sports Productions. So, Jake Roberts, any final thoughts of this football game?
I think looking at this season as a whole for Geyer, they got to be proud for what they accomplished. Great game here today. Bit of a crazy game. I know it was an 11-point game, but this was decided on very few plays. And like I've said a couple times, the margin of football is thin, and they just found themselves on the wrong side of that margin.
Mahlon Walker, any final thoughts? There you go.
Well, they didn't get the win, but I admire their fight. In the sidelines, you can see how a team responds to adversity, and they never gave up. They got the onside kick, and they were acting like they were going to win that game, and that's what good teams are made of. So I'm really proud of them for that.
Yeah, I thought had this game been scheduled on Friday night instead of Saturday afternoon, I think the better team was Geyer. I honestly believe that. The stats, if you look at the stats, it'll just absolutely tell you that. Complete domination, a matter of fact. The offensive numbers, when you go over this thing, is just insane of the way Geyer on the stat book just dominated. 27 to 14 in first downs, Geyer. 533 to 298 in yardage, Geyer. You look at that, and every time you say, hey, we're the better football team. And Friday night, they might have been. But today, unfortunately, they were not, if you're a Geyer fan. So for everyone who's been a part of this one, including Jake Roberts and Mahlon Walker, from Datku Stadium in Denton, Texas, at the University of North Texas, so long, everybody.
You've been listening to Millennium Sports' presentation of Geyer Wildcats Region Championship Football. The Wildcats wish to thank tonight's broadcast sponsors: Bill DeBerry Funeral Directors of Denton, the Scott Brown Group of Denton, Anchor Energy Solar Solutions of DFW, State Farm Agent Earl Wood of Fort Worth, Misero Mexican Restaurants of DFW, author James C. Bivens' book, Walking Through the Valley of Grief, available now on Amazon, and Harris Ratings Weekly of Corinth and Van Harris. Join us again next Saturday as the Wildcats or Dragons meet the winner of the DeSoto Eagles versus Longview Lobos in the UIL 6A Division II state semifinal, beginning with the Bill DeBerry Funeral Directors pregame show 35 minutes before kickoff. Thanks for listening, and drive safely. This is the Millennium Sports Network.